First Realty Group is a proud supporter of the students and faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. And like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South First Street in Pulaski.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running for, and why they should vote for you. With a wide range of campaign marketing materials from Holly's Printing. Signs, banners, cards, stickers, promotional items, and targeted mailings are all proven ways to reach voters with your platform, and Holly's Printing provides all of these services and more. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Holly's Printing is your campaign materials headquarters. Call 363-3161 or visit them online at hollysprinting.com.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County's needs are best served by dedicated local volunteers, someone like you. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. There are multiple ways to serve, and regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. If you've considered becoming a Giles County Fire and Rescue volunteer or would like to donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
There's never been a better time to sell your property than right now. So let your best friend in real estate help you get the best deal when selling your property. Haney Realty and Property Management will help you evaluate your property and the market to help you find the best buyer and the best price. Throughout the process, your best friend in real estate will be there with you to help you make the best decision for you and your family. So call Haney Realty and Property Management at 931-347-9150 or visit their office at 109 South First Street, just off the Pulaski Square.
First Realty Group is a proud supporter of the students and faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or or visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up to call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. Like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South First Street in Pulaski.
This is David Bushman. I'm the board chair of advisory board for the Giles County Fire and Rescue. We have an organization of dedicated over 40 volunteers that are on the front lines every day fighting fires, responding to emergency rescue situations in Giles County. We have a very dedicated family of firefighters. We're looking for more volunteers. Giles County could use as many volunteers as possible. We also could use financial support. As you know, it takes a lot of money to run 7 fire stations across the county. You can go on gilescountyfirerescue.org. If you'd like to be a firefighter, we'd love to have you come help make a difference in the community and join our family. Again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart as a Giles County citizen.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running for, and why they should vote for you. With a wide range of campaign marketing materials from Holly's Printing, signs, banners, cards, stickers, promotional items, and targeted mailings are all proven ways to reach voters with your platform. And Holly's Printing provides all of these services and more. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Holly's Printing is your campaign materials headquarters. Call 363-3161 or visit them online at hollysprinting.com.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
There's never been a better time to sell your property than right now. So let your best friend in real estate help you get the best deal when selling your property. Haney Realty and Property Management will help you evaluate your property and the market to help you find the best buyer and the best price. Throughout the process, your best friend in real estate will be there with you to help you make the best decision for you and your family. So call Haney Realty and Property Management at 931-347-9150 or visit their office at 109 South First Street, just off the Pulaski Square.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up to call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering.
County Fire and Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.com.
Big deal. Just get out of some of that tied up land. You know, the commission at some point has got to get an investment mindset.
First Realty Group is a proud supporter of the students and faculty of Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or visit them on the east side of Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Barnes Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. And like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South First Street in Pulaski.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running for, and why they should vote for you. With a wide range of campaign marketing materials from Holly's Printing, signs, banners, cards, stickers, promotional items.
I get everybody to start.
Are all proven weight. Get to a seat, and we'll get started just a little early with the prayer and pledge. We're going to have a little bit longer night tonight, so we'll get started as quick as we can. Go ahead, if somebody will close those back doors back there. All right, welcome everybody. We'll start with the prayer and the pledge. Ricky Keith will have our prayer, and Brandon Bass will lead us in our pledge. Please stand.
Pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, in Jesus' name, what a beautiful, beautiful day we've had, and Lord, what a blessed opportunity we have to live in an incredible country, a land of the free. And Father, the beauty of Giles County is insurpassable. But Father, we have challenges before us. We have concerns from government, from citizens, from outsiders. And Father, we want to address those in every way we can. We're looking forward to the future. And Father, we ask that you would give us the wisdom and the guidance. And Lord, tonight as you're watching over us, we pray for wisdom from above to come up with some ideas and answers that will help us grow as a community. And Lord, now we just ask your blessing on each one here tonight, families and friends. And Father, we thank you for this opportunity. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, guys. All right, a couple things we're going to take care of before we get started tonight. First of all, I knew it was a bad idea to have two preachers as our panelists because they've been asking to pass the plate around tonight. So.
We thought we'd help out with the school budget.
Second thing is we're all witnessing a world record. So, the world record is the first time that I've wore a tie 3 nights in a row in my life. I'm not sure it's a good one, but it is a record. And if you want to know how I got more than 3 ties, I've got a mother-in-law who loves me very much and takes care of me, wants me to look good. So I appreciate her. Welcome again, everyone, tonight. I'm going to say pretty much everything I've said every night because they've gone so well, I don't want to jinx it. I may add a couple of things. I want to welcome everyone tonight to the Gault Fine Arts Center at the University of Tennessee Southern. And once again, a huge thank you to the staff here at UT Southern. They jumped into action for us real quick whenever the need for this new venue came up. I want to once again thank the folks at Kitchen 218 for their efforts under very difficult circumstances that I think most of us understand. They worked very hard to get that venue ready, and it was the delay of the delivery of an HVAC equipment that forced the move. And as I said last night, I think we can all agree that we're glad we're not up there today or yesterday or the day before as far as the heat goes. Once again, we express our love and condolences to Kitchen 218 family over the loss of their founding partner, Josh Kirkpatrick. And I want to thank you guys for everything you've done. And I can't wait to see your new venue, by the way. Another group of folks who stepped up after that in a pinch are the following people and businesses who agreed to sponsor the cost of this amazing venue, which I think everybody will agree is a great place to have this event. They are Kitchen 218, Melissa Green, candidate for county executive. Graham Stowe, candidate for county executive. Friends of did I say Friends of Exit 14? Friends of Exit 14, Ace LLC Solar, and Giles Hotel Inn and Suites. I want to acknowledge my friend Billy T. Young, who got me started on this 4 years ago, got us started on this 4 years ago. I think we're doing pretty good. And the one thing I haven't said yet is build it and they will come. Right? That's the Friends of Exit 14 motto, build it and they will come. I also want to thank our volunteer panelists, Ricky Keith and Brandon Bass, who will ask questions and follow-ups for tonight's sessions, just like they have the other nights. The format will work like this. Candidates will take the stage in groups based on office, seat, and or district. Each candidate will be given a minute to introduce themselves and a minute at the end of that for closing remarks. In case we didn't touch on something that you wanted to say, that's what that extra minute's for, or to ask for votes again. If you want to add something to the discussion, I urge you to, like if we get to the end of a question and everybody's answered, you had something you want to add, I urge the candidates to either ask to add something or give me a high sign, whatever your high sign is. And we will give you time, and we'll give everybody time to have more discussion on each question to make sure everybody gets their say in. Each candidate will be asked the same questions to ensure that everyone has the same opportunities. Our panelists may also ask follow-up questions if any of the answers prompt those. Here's something new y'all haven't heard, so I'm going to say this one real slow. We have a lot more candidates tonight, like 6 more candidates tonight. Now, just think about it like this. I'm estimating 10 minutes per candidate. All right, that tells you. I think we could be done by 9:30. I hope we can. We're not going to rush anybody because these candidates are no less important than the ones that came the nights before. But we will be tighter on time. And I will probably hit you over the head with the clock a little bit more tonight than I would have any other night. But just to let you guys know that we're going to be tight. We are going to be past 9 o'clock tonight. We've done really well to get out of here before 9 o'clock the first 2 nights. Y'all have to pick me up out of the floor if we get out of here before 9 o'clock tonight. And one thing that can help us out with that, candidates, if you will, Tiffany's down here. I'm keeping the clock, and Tiffany has cards. One of them says 30 seconds. The other one says wrap it up. Don't freak out when you see them, but when you see 30 seconds, start winding down. And when you see wrap it up, you've got about 10 seconds left, and maybe 12 or 13. I'll try not to jump up and down and flap my arms at you. But if you see me do this, you've gone too far, okay? And that'll help out. That'll help us get through, all right? We will not get to every subject. I've said that every night. We haven't got to every subject, so tonight's going to be no different. There are subjects that I want to hear that I won't get to, that we won't get to. It's just a matter of time to get to those. And we haven't had any problems so far, but like I said, I don't want to jinx it, so I'm going to say it again. Every person in this room is an adult and are encouraged to act like adults. Each and every person here expects the other people around them to muster up self-control enough to respect this process and each other by not speaking out during the sessions. Those who cannot control themselves will be asked to leave. Like I said, it's not been a problem so far, but I think it still bears saying, and this does include the candidates on the stage. I'd like to thank everybody who's been here, but hey, y'all, I went ahead and got my column written today, though, so I'm thanking everybody in that. So y'all be looking for that next week in the paper. But I do want to thank the sponsors of Pulaski Citizen Live's community news and event streaming. That right now, this is on Pulaski Citizen Live streaming. Those sponsors are First Realty Group, Giles County Fire and Rescue, Haney Realty and Property Management, Holly's Printing, and M&M Staffing LLC. As I said, this is streaming live on Pulaski Citizen Live YouTube channel. You can find the link on Pulaski Citizen's Facebook page, or you can go straight to YouTube. These sessions will be broken out, and you will be able to view them by office, by session, once we get the opportunity to do that, and they will be shown on PES3 PTV once we get everything cut, clipped, and edited. So be ready for that. So with all that said, let's get started. I'm going to call up to first our sheriff candidates, Kyle Helton and John Mitchell. Please come up. Welcome up here, guys. The way we do this, guys, is the first, from where we're standing, the person on the right will get the first question, and we'll start, and we'll start this off. So, John, if you'll give me just a second, I'm going to get down in my seat and get the timer started. You'll have 1 minute to introduce yourself, and then we'll go to Kyle. Just give me 1 second, please.
My name is John Mitchell, and I am the Republican candidate for Giles County Sheriff's Department. I've had 22 years of full-time law enforcement experience. Got a lot of things that I've done over the years. I was SRO for right at 10 years at Giles County High School. I have 6 children, 3 of them which have been through the school system here in Giles County. I have 3 little ones that are still in the school system. So I'm very vested and very, very interested in our school safety. I hope that you'll come out and vote August the 4th and vote for John Mitchell. Thank you.
Mr. Helton.
I'm Kyle Hilton, currently sheriff, Giles County, for 16 years. Been in law enforcement 33 years, and started about 17 years for the city of Pulaski, and then, like I said, been sheriff 16 years, and I'm here tonight to ask you for your vote, and we can keep this up and be sheriff 4 more years. Thank you.
Real quick, just let me move it microphone just a little closer to you, Kyle. That's good, thank you.
All right, first question. We'll start with you, Mr. Mitchell. All right. Talk about the impact illegal drugs have on our community, and what would you do as sheriff over the next 4 years to deal with the issue?
Illegal drugs is a bad problem here in Pulaski and Giles County. We have a major problem with fentanyl being mixed with different drugs, and it's coming through our open borders. We can't help that, but it's a problem. We have a major interstate that runs through Giles County. I intend to try to do some kind of interdiction team, whether it be 1 person or 2, a couple of vehicles, and try to get a dog back in Giles County to be able to suffice with this. I want them to run Highway 65 or Interstate 65, Highway 64, 31, north and south. There's 166, they're coming through anytime. I talked to a state trooper the other day, and he said there were a lot of them cutting off at the number 1 because they didn't want to go through the way stations. And I'd like to do something about that to combat that situation.
I agree with John. This is a nationwide epidemic that we combat every day. And there's probably not a single family in this county that hasn't been affected by the illegal narcotics. It's decades long of practice of catch and release. It's proven ineffective. And there's no doubt the drug dealers need to be in jail. and they need to be punished to the fullest extent. But with our community partners, we hope to provide education and direction, and to the majority of people who aren't, if there aren't dealers, and provide them with some resources to change their behaviors. We have 2 narcotic investigators, and we're also members of the 22nd Judicial Task Force that General Cooper has. And then we have a great working relationship with the local, state, federal agencies, as well as our surrounding county and states.
As a follow-up to this, Wednesday night, we had our circuit judges on the stage answering questions, and a couple of them made mention of the high percentage of drug cases where charges are being dismissed. First question is how frustrating is that from a law enforcement standpoint? And the second part of that is there anything from a sheriff's standpoint that can be done to rectify that? Or as citizen voters, is there anything we can do?
Kyle, you can answer that one first. Okay. Well, it's been discouraging. Later on, I was going to say that every 5 years, it's changed, but it seems like it's getting for the worst. And, our philosophy is if they get out and they're still dealing, we'll go back and we'll put them back in jail. And we'll keep taking them to jail every time.
John? As far as being sheriff, there's not a whole lot you can do with the judges. Now, what I'd like to do is meet with the judges after we've all, if you were to vote me in as sheriff, and meet with all the judges to try to combat this in some kind of way, come up with a plan with General Cooper and with all the judges. Because I see it a lot coming through. I've had several cases dismissed myself. And it's frustrating on the officers, not only me, but even Sheriff Helton. It frustrates him because we're out here working on this stuff every single day. You may see us driving, but we're always looking for drugs. That's what happens. That's what we're out there for, is to take this stuff off the streets. And I agree with Sheriff Helton. We do want them in jail. And I intend, if you elect me as sheriff, to put them in jail.
Very good. Changing directions a little bit. The county, the school system, and sheriff's department have worked together to place an SRO in every school. The SRO program is about safety, but has grown into a bigger role. Since both of you have experience with the SRO program, give us your thoughts on the current state of the program in Giles County schools and how SROs can be even more of an asset to our schools and our students.
Start with John. Okay, that's a good question. Our current SRO program is very good. I work personally with several of them that are SROs now. It's a very good program. The only thing that I would like to perceive changing would be I want them to teach. I taught there. Sheriff Helton taught there for several years himself. The DARE program is a thing of the past. They have some new programs I'd like to look at and get the people trained, and so we can go into schools and talk about drugs, gangs, and whatever it is they need to talk about.
Kyle. Well, we were fortunate enough to expand the SROs, and we have one in every school plus one extra one now. And when we went to schools, our priority is to secure that school. In these days and times of what's going on, I love the programs. They got a LEADS program. They still have DARE, but with what's going on in our community right now, we need to be securing the schools, and but on the flip side of that, this rapport that the SROs and that they build with these students and the staff is of utmost importance. So to have that blend, I can tell you from my experience that you won't hear about the things that stop. You'll hear about the things that happen. But if a good SRO, if they believe in them, you'll know before it ever happens.
I could just follow up with that, please.
Yeah, go right.
I'm going to call him Kyle if you don't care. Kyle and I have been partners for a long time. We worked together for a long time. And no disrespect toward him, but Kyle and I have seen many children come through school. In fact, he has people that's working for him that was in his program, SRO program or their program. I have people working at the sheriff's department and the police department. So it's very rewarding when you see this happens, regardless of whether it's me or Kyle, either way. It's very enlightening to have someone to join the force and join the rank of either department or any department in that respect.
Kyle, you want to add anything else? Okay.
Let me just follow up with that because you both mentioned the training and the DARE programs and others. And what can law enforcement do as preventative enforcement as opposed to just criminal response, either in an education role or an intervention role of that sort?
Kyle, go ahead.
Okay, and I'm sure John will say the same thing. I spent a lot of time counseling with students. My door was open for them to come in, and so it was very interesting, some of the stories that you would hear and what was happening at their homes or anything. Like I said, if they believe in you, they'll come to you. I still, when my phone rings at the office, I'll hear Officer Helton. I see some of my students out there today, and when they call the office, they don't say Sheriff Helton, they say Officer Helton. I know I had him in school. So,
John.
I get that same thing, and I agree with Kyle, is we do, the SRO wears many hats. I mean, they do many different things, and we're not as trained for all the roles, but we have to fall into them. The main thing for SRO is to make sure they have a good working relationship with the administration. That's the number one thing, because without that, you are nothing in that school. Absolutely nothing. And it takes administration from the superintendent on down to be able to have a successful SRO program. And you want to, I want to teach the GREAT program. The GREAT program has come up with new ideas, new things from K through 12. DARE only does certain grades. I taught it a long time, but I really don't agree with a lot of the way their form goes now. But I've looked into the GREAT program, and it's very, very enlightening for what we need around Giles County.
I would like to follow up.
Sure, go ahead, yeah.
GREAT it's a great program, and I'm still on the SRO board, and they promote it there. But my only concern is I was in the classroom, he was in the classroom. If you're tied up in the classroom, then you're not securing what you need to be doing. If you could have somebody from the outside that could come in, like I said, if you saw what happened last week and a couple of weeks before, security's everything.
You both spoke on the drug issue we have in Giles County. So outside of the drug issue, what do you see as the biggest challenge facing the sheriff's department over the next 4 years, and how would you address that challenge?
And I think we're on John.
Many different things. Crime has gone up, especially in the last 2 to 5 years, I'd say. Our call volumes, whether it's been city or county, has went tremendously high. Presence of the police or sheriff is their first line of defense with any police officer. Show a presence. And to me, we need to add more officers. I'm not knocking Kyle about that. Kyle's tried. He's tried everything in the world, but our people need to get behind whoever's sheriff, whether it be me or whether it be Kyle. Then the money needs to be spent to add more officers in this county. There are times we don't have enough to even cover the calls. Same as the city. We don't have enough to cover the calls. But it's always about money. But you want to talk about safety, you have to spend money.
Okay. Michelle. One of the biggest challenges that we're seeing is retaining. recruiting and retaining. There's a lot of things that you can say that it's not a job that's really appealing, that it was. When I first started, we'd have a stack of applications. We'd have 20 applications to get people persons to apply now. It's a challenge, but we want to make it more appealing. And as far as our deputies, we're a couple short, but we don't even have any applicants at this time. And that is nationwide. Yeah. It's not just in Pulaski and Giles County. It's a problem that's happening everywhere. And I speak to sheriffs and I speak to chiefs, and all of us are having the same problems right now.
I think we have time for one more question before we let these guys wrap this up.
Okay, let's go with this one. And this one will be a little touchy maybe. Talk about changes that have taken place in law enforcement, especially over the past several years, and how that impacts law enforcement, but in the context of the national narrative in opposition to law enforcement at times.
Kyle, we'll go first.
Well, we've seen a lot of changes in 33 years, and like I said, most of the time it's not too good, but technology has been a big problem. We have to train for the technology that the cyber, as far as child molesters, and matter of fact, we probably get 5 to 10 predator calls a week. Our CID does. Didn't know that, but our guys, they're overwhelmed with it. But we go back to SROs. A lot of reports are coming from the schools. And so it's, we are we're in an organization that we can reach out and have help worldwide with this. So, but our guys are overwhelmed with predators right now.
Mr. Mitchell.
I agree with what Kyle's saying. He's so right about the technology. But also the United States have shunned the police over the last 10 years. We've been put in the hole and we're having to dig our way out. People doesn't realize what these guys go through each and every day, whether it's me, whether it's Kyle or any other officer that's here tonight or out on the streets tonight. It's not the fun and games like we put on to be. It's not the fun and games like sometimes you hear us talking about. We have to dedicate ourselves to each other. All we have is each other, to be honest with you. Kyle is my brother. There's 2 or 3 officers in here that are my brothers today, and they will always be my brothers. They will be my brothers till the day I die. I will never lose that friendship and that brotherhood. But there's so many things. Let's talk about the media. I'm not trying to knock anybody, but the media has killed us. They have completely killed police officers over the years and not reporting correctly. And I feel like that's the biggest thing, plus technology. We've gone along. There's a lot of technology that we're not even able to gain here in Giles County. But hopefully, eventually, we'll be able to come up to the technology that some of these big cities have. We're nowhere near that. We'll never make that. But hopefully we can do better at trying to add new things and new technology in our patrol cars and this, that, and other, dispatched by computer and this, that, and other, get away from the radio dispatch.
You like to add?
I'd like to add a little bit to what John said as far as on our introduction. I was going to say I'm a member of the Tennessee Public Safety Network because we go out, we reach out all over the state, and I've been to other states when critical incidents happen to other police officers, and my phone rings and we go running to help other police officers because suicide it's real in law enforcement. It happens quite a bit, if we can save a police officer's life, that's, I've left my house at midnight to go to, I've been to a lot of other counties far away just to go help police officers.
Got anything else you'd like to add, John?
Kyle has done an excellent job of that. He started that back, I think, when you first became sheriff, wasn't he? I believe so. He's done an excellent job. I've called him many times. I still depend on Kyle today. In fact, I call him today. He will answer me and try to help me whatever he can. And he knows that I would do the same thing. It's a brotherhood, and we try to take care of each other.
All right, gentlemen, we're out of time. Great discussion, by the way. We will start with Mr. Helton. You'll have 1 minute to wrap it up if there's something.
We're fast.
Y'all are, but the timing's out. It's about right now. But this is where we're still early. So yeah, go ahead and you'll have 1 minute to wrap it up. Touch on anything that we didn't touch on that you'd like to talk about.
Well, there's a lot of things. We could sit up here and talk all night about it, but our ultimate goal is to protect the citizens of this county and citizens who come through this county. I've given my life to public service. I started at 19. I got in the National Guard, and then, like I said, I've been in law enforcement 33 years. And hopefully, with your vote, I'll be back 4 more years. Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell.
I'd like to thank y'all for letting us come out tonight and have a discussion all over this. I intend to, if you would have let me as sheriff, to do the best that I can be, or do the best that I can, and to serve our community, and try to, I guess, apprehend. I'm being the cop now. I want to apprehend and have people that apprehend the crooks out here each and every day. It does not matter what they do, where they come from. My opinion about somebody that breaks the law, you break the law, you're guilty. Not guilty all the time. You're guilty until, you're not guilty till you're proven guilty. Okay, all right, I'm sorry, but I got a little backwards on that one. But anyway, I want to thank everybody, and I end up in every speech that I've made here since I've become the Republican candidate. It's a great day to be a Republican. Thank you.
John, that was easy. That was easy for you to say, right? All right, y'all. This is gonna be one of the quick breaks. Y'all don't run off. We're gonna get this table changed off real quick. After this group, the next group coming up, we'll have a longer break so everybody can take care of whatever business you need to. Thank you, John, sir. Come on. It's fine. You're doing it. I think you're down there on the end. I just need to know if Mr. Harold Young's here. Okay. Sonny, you can come on up too. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Thank you for your, just like everybody else, thank you for your willingness to serve. This is our County Commission District 2 candidates. Stoney Jackson, Terry Jones, David Womble, and Thomas Dennison. Gentlemen, we will start with your introductions. We'll start with Stoney. As soon as I get sit down, Stoney, I'll point at you and you can take off.
All right. All right, first of all, I want to thank the staff in the UT Southern for letting us put this venue on here. My name is Stoney Jackson, and I'm married to Gladys. We have 2 sons, 2 granddaughters, 1 great-grandson, 4 great-granddaughters, 2 boys and 2 girls, and the great-grand, got a set of twins. I've been on the commission for 24 years and 6 months. I lived in Monter Hill all my life. And I'm proud to be and have served on the county commission all these years. I've served on most every committee that and chaired most all of them too. And I have a good relationship working with the county executive and all the officers in the county. I know how county government works, and it is not like what a lot of people think. And I've attended numerous classes with the CTAS, try to learn the knowledge that I've learned here as being a commissioner for these 24 and a half years. Thank you.
Mr. Jones.
I'd like to start out. I'm Terry Jones. I'm running for, I'm the Republican nominee for the 2nd District Commission seat. I've never been a commissioner before. I'm a Christian conservative. The reason I bring that out, I've never been a commissioner, so you can't go by my voting record. I don't have a voting record per se to look at. Like Stoney. Stoney's been there for a long time. We can go back. David Womble's been there for a while. We can go back and look at his. I've got to let you know where I lean toward. That's the reason for being the Republican nominee. Married, got 4 to Tina. We've got 4 kids together. We've got 3 granddaughters. I'm born and raised right here in Giles County. Love the place. Love to be your commissioner. Thank you.
Mr. Womble.
I'm David Womble. I'm the incumbent Republican District 2 representative. Been married to Malia for 24 years. We have 2 beautiful daughters. I've been on the county commission for almost 4 years now, my first term. The previous 4 years, I served as the District 2 representative to the school board. And I'm going to touch on something law enforcement did earlier. One of the 2 things, there's 2 things that stand out as my service on the school board is positive movement in Giles County. First was to give Chromebooks or small laptop computers to every student in this county, whether their parents or grandparents could afford it. Every child in our school system now has a laptop, and I'm very proud to be part of that. Second thing, and I'm like I said, I'm back on my school board service, was putting SROs in all 8 of our schools. Our school board and our county commission was able to work together to do that, and protecting our children, I can't think of anything more important, period. But other than that, the relationships that the SROs build with these children. You know, children sometimes learn at home that the police aren't good people. And, you know, with an SRO in the school that interacts with those children every day, you know, they learn differently. I've been on the commission for 4 years, and I didn't run for this seat simply to sit in it. Since joining the commission, I've been on the ambulance committee for 4 years. I've been the chairman for 3. I've been the chairman of the insurance committee for the last 2 years. I've been the vice chairman of the budget committee for the last 2 years. I've been a past chair of the public service committee, and probably another 1 or 2. But I'm asking for District 2 to help me vote for me and let me continue serving you.
Mr. Dennison.
Good evening. You can identify me as the candidate with the accent. And you may be saying, well, what accent is that? And I was told some time ago by a learned lady of the county, and she says, well, that must be the accent of a Yankee. And I said, well, my dear, with all due respect, you're wrong. She said, oh, am I? I said, yes, I'm not a Yankee. I'm a damn Yankee. Because the difference was a Yankee comes to visit and a damn Yankee doesn't know when to go home. So in 2007, we made this our home. And this is where I had my firstborn son. And once you have your firstborn son who's a volunteer, you're a Tennessean forever. And when you lay to rest your firstborn child in the soil of Tennessee, you're staying forever. And I need to tell you that not out of sympathy, but in sincerity and thanks to this county. 2 years ago, we suffered a loss of my firstborn child. Her name was Ashley Rose, and she loved this county. And the farmers and everyone said, you land that chopper in my field, I don't care what's planted there because we're getting your baby to safety, and they did. And I have to say thank you, and why I'm running is to say thank you in whatever way I can to you, my neighbors and friends. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll get started tonight, and we'll jump right into a financial issue. Paying to keep county employees, including teachers in Giles County, is obviously an ongoing problem. How do you propose the county commission balance fiscal responsibility with the need to increase pay for county employees, particularly teachers, to retain our professional employees?
We'll start with Mr. Jackson.
And find that one of the most important things is through the Department of Education. We have a maintenance of effort, and we have to fund that maintenance effort. We ain't got any choice. But we can also, with this sales tax business, it's been talked about every night here. It's something that would really go a long way with teachers' pay increases. And we've also got a problem, like the Cal was talking about, recruiting teachers. It's hard. And we raised their maintenance effort this year $500,000 to give them a pay increase. And that's just barely getting above what the governor has set for the salary of the teachers. So we're not above the level, but we're not below the level anymore. We're trying to get above that level. And if we can get this 0.25% sales tax increase, we can increase that maintenance service some more. And I think that the county commission will go along with increasing the salary. We've increased it for the ambulance service. We increased it for the sheriff's department. We're trying our best with what dollars we have. We just have so much. And to get more money in the coffer, you've got to have some other revenue coming in. And that sales tax is one of the revenues that we could use. So that was my take on what needs to be done with it.
Mr. Jones.
I want to talk about something that said last night, and I hope I don't step on anybody's toes. Last night, someone said what we need to do is we need to get some good teachers here in Giles County and then try to keep them. I want to say we do have good teachers here in Giles County, and we do need to find a way to keep them. And this sales tax revenue that Stoney mentioned, if we read it, we'd like to say it's a no-brainer. That would be something that we would guarantee money to the teachers. All of us in this room are blessed. I'm assuming there's nobody in this room hoping not on the poverty line. I personally will vote for this. I'll tell you where I stand at on it. But I do know when you go talk about raising taxes, I do know in the real world, there's single mamas out there with 2 little kids that they're already on the generic macaroni and cheese. They're looking for just any way to make it. The light bills are up, $5 gas. I could just go on and on about that. So let's not be too quick to judge people that's not going to vote for it. At this time, with 40-year high on everything's. Let's not be too quick to judge these people that are saying, look, I can't afford anything else. I know people like that. I feel sorry for these people like that. And I'm not going to go to these people and say, hey, look, but if you just let us raise it, and I know it's just a quarter on $100. No one in here thinks that's much. I personally don't think it's, I wish I could pay everybody's quarter, but I can't. We're already paying it to the city. I know that. I've studied this. I think it's a great thing. And we do need to pay our teachers. Let me try to run through this real quick. And the maintenance of effort. That's a good thing. What maintenance effort actually means is whatever we give you this year, we've got to give you again next year. All right, I agree with that. But when somebody turns in their budget and they said, look, I need $500,000 to run my next year. All right, if they've turned that in for the last 3 or 4 years and it's $500,000, let's leave it. That means they're doing a good job at keeping their budget. Let's not sit here and say, I want to raise you up another $100,000 for that. Pat yourself on the back for giving them that extra $100,000, and then you want to look at this teacher and say, I'm sorry, maybe next year. No, we can't do that. We can't continue to do that. Teachers are one of the heroes. We need to be paying our teachers, our cops, our firemen, EMTs, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Womble?
I'm proud to say that since I've been on commission, we've raised the maintenance of effort. And the maintenance of effort is the amount of money the county funds to the school system. When we say maintenance of effort, that's what that means. We've been able to raise it twice in the last 3 years. And that's huge because there was a long period of years before that where it was not raised. But we do face some of the same struggles in every department. As Sheriff Helton mentioned, staffing of the jail and the sheriff cars. Also, the ambulance department has struggled with staffing. They've been under a tremendous strain the last 2 years with COVID. They've been worked to death. And one thing we've done with our EMS, our ambulance department, is we've changed their schedule. We've changed to a 24 on, 72 off, which there's only one other county in the state of Tennessee that has that type of schedule, because we can't offer more money than Murray County. So we're working to offer something else, a better schedule, a better way of life with that schedule, thinking outside the box. That was brought to us by Melissa Green to the ambulance committee. We chose that path to run with, and I'm proud of it because we're offering now something in Giles County that nobody else has. Everybody can, outpay us sometimes, but we're trying our best to keep the EMS staff up so we can serve all of Giles County. Did I cover the question?
Yeah. Mr. Dennison.
No new taxes. We are taxed enough already. Taxing the existing people will not generate what you want to have done. You need to think outside the box. Democrats, rhino Republicans, always go to raise your taxes and that's going to solve the problem. No. If you raise revenue, if you encourage more businesses to come here, if you have a business-friendly environment, if you develop your infrastructure, you will attract new businesses. So what do we need to get? Teachers, law enforcement, EMS. How do they bring in big businesses to your major cities? They give them tax incentives. Why can't we do it for individuals? If you're a quality teacher, if you're a number one law enforcement, if you're an EMS person, let's look at lowering your real estate tax. Let's think outside the box. How do we get them in? Let's give you a break for 5 years. If you stay here 10, we'll lower your tax rate to this. They'd be knocking on our door because it's a beautiful place to live, but we got to bring them in. When you raise those taxes, the teachers are going to say two things. Well, I'm down here And now you're throwing a burden on these new people coming in. You're not going to encourage anyone to come in. We need to encourage people to come here. And how we do it, if it was good enough for Nissan, it was good enough for GM to say, oh, you don't have to pay property taxes up there. I say it's darn good enough for the people who raise our children, if you will, for 10 hours a day sometimes in the schools. For the man that puts, and the woman that puts that sidearm on their hip and puts their life on the line every day to say, I'll lower you by a few percentage points on your real estate tax the longer you stay here. That's my solution.
All right, question number 2, and we'll start with you, Mr. Jones. We're going to change gears a little bit here. From a county commission standpoint, please talk about how our county government can protect Giles County from potential nuisance or dangerous property usage while balancing the rights of property owners.
Well, I'll start out by saying I'm a no zoner. I do not believe in zoning. I will say we might need to look at something for government protection, for county protection through getting together with people like Stone that's been here for a while. We need to get with some legal experts through to see what's already being protected through state laws. I totally understand nobody wants, let's use the incinerator. Nobody wants an incinerator coming beside their house. Nobody wants a junkyard coming beside their house. Nobody wants anything. But I don't want to handcuff everyone in Giles County because I don't want something beside my house. I don't want zoning. No one wants to be told what. I'll tell you what it's going to, it'll end up like an HOA. I'm going to tell you what color you're going to have your shades. I'm going to tell you when you got to cut your grass. That does happen in the city. You let your grass grow up in the city. See what happens. Yeah, we all want everything to look pretty. I don't want to have to ask, can I have a shed out behind my house? That's my property. I want to put that shed on my house, on my property. I want to be able to put that shed on my property. That I go somewhere else.
Mr. Womble.
Thank you. Since I've been on the commission, I've heard a lot about zoning, property rights and all that. And I've never seen anybody on this commission in the last 4 years that wanted to restrict what you do with your personal property. That's where the zoning conversation always goes for some reason. But I don't think there's anybody currently on our commission that wants to restrict anything you do. You pay your mortgage, you pay your taxes, you do what you want to with your property. Now, as for industries coming in here who employ 50 plus people, we need to have some restrictions on the placement of those industries and some restrictions on what type of industries we will allow in Giles County. And we can do that without infringing on residential property rights. I would like to see us do that. One thing Melissa Green brought to our attention is that these businesses are already really restricted of where they can locate based on utility services. Any large industry is going to need large 3-phase power, which we don't have on Oak Grove Road between Terry Jones's house and my farm. So we don't have to worry about that. We don't have natural gas, down on Salem Road. So we already have some natural barriers that help us protect us from these industries we don't want because they can only locate in certain places. But we do need to continue working on this.
Mr. Dennison.
I would concur with what my colleagues have said about the zoning. I could also speak to that from firsthand knowledge. I am an attorney, and in my younger years, I was a zoning board law clerk for the city of Pittsburgh. So I learned it very closely. And one thing I will say about zoning is the only people that make money are the lawyers. And if anyone's considering going for countywide zoning, I will tell you clearly, directly, with no strings attached, I am against it 100%. Unless you are able to pony up probably $1 million a year, be ready to budget something like that countywide. You don't want to zone your whole county. You need to specify and tell us, what are these protections? What are you looking to be protected from? You need to identify it. You cannot speak in the abstract. We need to get specifics, so we need to have our county commission meetings at a time when the business people are done at their businesses. When the farmer is done on his farm, have these meetings at night at a public location and let the people speak. Don't have them at 9 o'clock in the morning when everybody else is doing their job. Because we need to know from you, what are your concerns? My concern on Fall River Road might not be the same as your concern on Minor Hill Highway. But that's not to say mine is more important or yours is more important. I need to know what the concerns are. But I tell you, I would never vote to zone it countywide. We came here, we live in the country because I wanted to live in the country. If you want to live in the city, there's the city mouse and the country mouse. You can live in the city and do those sorts of things, not countywide.
Mr. Jackson?
Several years ago, I introduced the Jackson Law to the county commission, and also introduced the nuisance law, which the Jackson Law protects the county from landfills, mostly. The nuisance law was really a broad area. Well, what's a nuisance to me is not a nuisance to somebody else. A dog barking down that may not be a nuisance to me, but it may be to somebody else. So we rescinded that nuisance law this term, and which is a good idea, maybe not. But we've had a lot of foolish complaints, I guess, with it that didn't really make good sense. And who was going to enforce it? That was our next question about. Well, you got to have somebody to enforce those kind of laws. And it's some other laws in the state of Tennessee that protects counties other than having zoning. And I'm another one. The people in my district, that's been one of their hottest subjects. They don't want nobody telling them what to do with their property, and I don't blame them. I don't want somebody telling me what I can do and what I can't do, because I pay the taxes, and I should be able to do with my property what I want to. And that's been my feeling all along. And maybe we protect these other businesses that are coming in here. They like David said, we got to have the infrastructure for them. If we haven't got it, they're gonna go for the infrastructure. But let me say one other thing too. We need a lot of retail, more businesses we got here in this town. That would help us more than anything. I'm probably getting off the subject a little bit. I just want to make that clear. We need to get out and groom some of these business people to encourage retail people to come in here.
May I respond to
Sure, go ahead.
Stoney?
Yes.
I would say that we don't need as much more retail. We need quality businesses that pay our citizens and our young people a living wage that they can afford to stay here in Giles County. You're not going to stay here if you're just making $7.25 an hour. We need to encourage the big companies to come in here with the proper incentives so we keep our children here and keep our brain, and we don't have a brain drain. It's not just the Walmarts and the little retailers. It's the big guys that we can come in. They can give us some money, help educate the children, keep our families here.
Anybody else want to add anything to that? Okay.
I want to follow up with the land use discussion. Mr. Womble, you did say there are natural barriers, so those nuisance are probably not going to be a problem. The big industries, the landfills, there's things that cover that. But take this scenario. Farmer Brown has 10 acres. He divides it into 1 acre lots, builds houses with a road cut down the middle, 5 houses on each side, sells the lots, builds the houses, and Farmer Brown is gone to Florida. And now, Mr. Jones is living at the bottom of this hill, and the drainage is washing down those hills and washing his drive and washing his yard out. And now that developer is gone and left that. Should we not have some kind of oversight for development that would police this? And we'll start with
Mr. Wamble.
I'd like to say that I did ask for softball questions.
Y'all set yourself up for this one.
Luckily, we have those restrictions in this county. It is not zoning, but we do have a commercial, well, what would you call it, subdivision development guidelines that we go by. We have a regional planning board. The drainage and roads all have to be approved by our county commission and approved by our county road superintendent to the county commission before we accept those roads. Those roads have to be built to county specs. So what you've just described is progress that we need. We need more housing, and we do have the proper guidelines in order to handle that.
Mr. Tennyson.
I would agree with Mr. Wamble. You have those things, and the scenario is not quite accurate. It would be an action of trespass, arguably a common law trespass, where something from one person's land comes onto your land.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I didn't think that would
That goes back to old England. Okay, so if you're keeping something on your property and you don't take care of it and it runs onto mine, it's not the county's problem. The county didn't do that, or even necessarily the first developer. It's if you're not taking care of your property and it's interfering with mine, that's trespass. So there are legal methods in which we would deal with that the county would not need to incur its costs. We already have safeguards in place. We don't need to do those types of things necessarily to prevent the farmer from making money. He's worked on that land all of his life, and if he gets to the point in his time where he's tired and just wants to retire to Florida, God bless him. I think he should get to go, and he's done with his land. He's given back from his land, and he's given the bounty of his land to us, and that should be his right to do. But I don't want to see that person getting taxed or his children getting taxed where they can't afford to keep that family farm either. When I hear people on the commission talking about raising taxes, that's where my mind goes. Let's not tax out the family farmer. Let's not tax out the people who want to continue growing, but let's also allow that farmer to retire with dignity and allow him to do something good with his land, i.e. giving homes to new people who can move in here and be productive members of the community, who can raise a family. Because I tell you again, it's the best gosh darn place I could think of to raise my family. They're going to have to carry me out feet first, and I want my children to stay here after they go away to school and come back.
Mr. Jackson.
We got subdivision regulations in the county through the planning commission. They have to come before us and the highway superintendent. It all runs back into the highway superintendent. He's the one who goes out and checks the roads and the drainages and all that and makes sure that everything's in place, and comes to the county commission with the planning commission, and we look over the subdivision regulations, make sure everything is in right, and then we go on and get the approval through the county commission to accept those. It all runs around what the roads more than anything. Our subdivision regulations, I think about 2 pages thick. It's very thin, very thin. Nothing compared to our neighboring counties in it. But have we got everything in place? I think we have. Maybe we haven't had any trouble lately with that I know of. It used to that they'd have up in the north end of the county, they had some problem with drainage and in the floodplain up there with it. But so far, since I've been on the planning commission, everything's went pretty smooth with it. And here's the chairman sitting right here with us. He's done a good job with it. Me and him had a disagreement too. But anyway, and I'm just touching on what David and my colleagues back over here said. I agree with you 100%. Housing that's, you know, Giles County has, to me, has got, we either got high income or low income, medium income housing. We don't have much low income housing here in the county. And, you know, and I don't know how you go about doing it, because developers is maybe just not don't want to do it. But I have seen a real influx in development here in Giles County. They've done a real good job with it, and the growth is coming, and that's going to help our tax base. You got to grow your tax base.
Mr. Jones?
Can't add a whole lot to that. We are blessed in this county to have a road commissioner like Barry Hyde. He goes out on these subdivisions. He inspects everything. He checks the roads. He checks the drains. He checks the levels. He checks all that stuff. Like they said, they put together, all the subdivision package, and I don't know that we've had any problems like that recently at all. But I also know Mr. Jones, and he might still go to Florida also. I don't know.
Next question. By the way, this is going to probably be our last question, and then we'll get to the wrap up.
Okay. I did a quick Google search this morning of traffic counts on I-65, and we have about 18,460 vehicles per day go I-65 north and south through Giles County. What are some thoughts and ideas on developing our exit to tap into that revenue stream? You realize if we got 5% of that traffic off one of our exits in our county to spend $50, that's $1.6 million a year at our current tax rate coming into the county. How can we tap into that revenue stream and expand our tax base with non-residents?
And we'll be to Mr. Dennison.
We are at the crossroads of Tennessee. Tennessee starts here. Tennessee begins in Giles County or can end in Giles County. I say it begins here. We're at the crossroads between Memphis and Chattanooga, Chicago and the Gulf Coast. The first place they hit Tennessee is our exits. We need to, though, have, again, our public commission meetings at a time when everyone can be there. And I need to have and find out who are those property owners around the exits. Let's go to them first. Let's see what they're interested in doing with the property, because I'm certainly not going to take any man's farm from him. But there is development. They need to be part of it, because you can't develop if someone doesn't want to give you the land. But we need to have a partnership of those people who own that land. Let's hear their voice. But we need to develop it. Then we get the list of the companies. We know who we need to be. Bring in your Cracker Barrels and your the oil companies that have the Circle K's, and your major truck stop places and things of that nature. Go out to them, call them in, bring them in. Talk to Nissan, talk to Mercedes, talk to the big auto companies. Have a major meeting. We can do this. Look at these facilities we have here. We can do it. If you can do it for us, by gosh, we can do it anywhere. We have the resources also now from UT Southern. They have connections. We have connections with Vanderbilt. Let's make this county what it should be, but we have to be willing to go and talk to people and say, please, can you come on in? We talk to those groups, we get together with those groups, and then we develop that and market it beyond just our little district.
Mr. Jackson.
One of the big problems that we have with the exits is infrastructure. We've got very little infrastructure on this front, and you've got to have some infrastructure. Of course, you know, the exit 14 is one of the bigger, about the property that you were talking about. The people, it's about 50 people in that family that owns that property out there. We done went through this once to get the property out there for for the wastewater system. And it's not no whole lot of property available now on down south and to Ardmore down there. It's good property down there, but we still have to have the infrastructure. We ain't got that infrastructure, and how you gonna go about it? You got to put in some coin somewhere to get that infrastructure in there. I'd like to see natural gas all in Giles County. But of course, Pulaski is one that oversees the natural gas and where it goes in here. But we've already got a lot of this in place here. We just need the infrastructure to go with it.
Mr. Jones?
Well, one of the short-term things we could do quickly is pass this sales tax resolution thing, referendum thing, that would, everybody that stops and gets their gas and little meals and whatever, their tax would come into our county. That's short-term. Long-term, most factories want to be within 20 minutes of a major interstate. We have our industrial parks here. We've got two of them right close into place, right here in the county. We could really develop those and leave our interstates, our exits out there. That would make great places for Cracker Barrels and all kind of restaurants, and maybe even some factories for maybe 100 people or less out there. It ain't like we got to go out there and get everything ready for a 1,000 person. But it'd be good if we could do that. But then, like Stoney said, it's going to cost some pennies to do that. So we really need to get a planning commission together to really talk about what do we need to do on that. I know we have EDC directors working on it right now, and hey, we're thankful for that. And I hope we can get, like Tom said, if we can go and recruit some of these companies, some of these businesses, some of these restaurants, get them in here, start somewhere, get something going, have a plan. If you can either, a failure to plan is a plan to fail. You got to do something. You got to have a plan. You got to have a long-term plan. You got to do something. Scott, I'm trying to look at you because she keeps giving me that sign. I'll wrap it up.
Mr. Womble?
I love the idea of taxing non-Giles Countyans and spending their money in our county. Yes. Period. But the county commission does not open Cracker Barrels. We do not, build truck stops. What we have to do as your county representatives, your county government, is to create an atmosphere that is conducive to bring these people to us. And as a county commissioner, I will always be in favor of creating a positive business climate. And I greatly hope we can see more interstate exit expansion. We need private business, and when that private business comes to us, we need to do everything we can to get them to locate with us.
I have a rebuttal.
Yes.
It was said that you approached, there were 50 landowners, you approached them about a wastewater treatment plant or something down there. Well, I don't know why we would want to use any of those exits for a wastewater site. Those are prime real estate places. You would want them for business development. And if you're saying about how do we get the infrastructure, it's very simple. You ask Pilot, you ask the major restaurant chains, you ask the auto companies, you ask the industry, and you give them a tax incentive to come here. If you come, if you put in the infrastructure, we will give you a reduction in your property taxes by a certain percentage, so long as you stay for a certain amount of time. You don't raise the taxes on the people that have lived and died and sweat and poured everything into this county. You think outside the box. You don't always have to raise a tax to pay a price. You can bring them in if you think outside the box.
Anybody else like to add anything? Yes, sir.
We're already giving tax incentives for these companies.
But no one's there.
Huh?
But no one's
there. They ain't got no property. You got to have some property from them. Those people that I talking about was 50 someone owns that land out there. That's a family. It's all in their family. It took us 2 years to condemn that out there. 2 years to get to all these people, to do what we had to do. And you said that what we would need a wastewater treatment plant. That was part of the deal that you had for these truck stops and all that to locate was wastewater system. But that was our goal to put that wastewater, and our goal was to get those trucks done. And the starting of it was up our liquor warehouse was coming out. They had to have that.
Anybody else? Yes, sir.
They talked about infrastructure, and I know this is going to kind of move a little bit. I come into this thinking that District 2 was probably the only district that had the problems that I had written down. But after going through these nights, we're finding out that infrastructure is a big deal as far as internet throughout the county. We don't have it. If you live where I live, you have Ardmore. I'm not going to sit up here and throw stones at them. I've had Ardmore for 30 plus years. I don't have them anymore. We need to really, really get more than one option for internet providers. There's also another problem. I'm going to just speak lightly on it. A lot of people don't know, and John brought it out also. I've talked to some buddies of mine that live down around Minor Hill and Peach and all down in there. We go with one cop nowadays, most time patrolling. If you go a lot of places in this county, you do not have radio service. You don't have, these cops are already having a dangerous job anyway. If I were them, I would not go to Peach Beach, Little Texas, none of the places. They don't have radio or telephone service. We got a lot we need to work on.
Anybody else want to add anything up to that question?
Yeah, look, I get another. I think the show off.
We're going. If you want to add it in, we'll add 30 seconds to each one of y'all's introduction. Wrap ups, and you can just weigh in at that point. Is that okay?
That'll work.
All right. So a minute and a half to each one of you guys to wrap up, and we'll start with Mr. Jackson. Go right ahead.
Well, I'm like I say, I'm here to. Try to put some of my knowledge in the people that don't know. Know that, but some of the things that we talked about here through our county executive, Melissa Green we have stepped up to the plate. We've had some strategic planning meetings. They say we didn't have no strategic planning. We've had a couple of those strategic plans. Then COVID come along, and that put a halt to most everything. And I envy her for what she did in this county, because it was a whole lot dumped onto her. I mean, a whole lot. So, but we are in the process of putting up some tires and fixing this for the get some services out in the county for more there, and hopefully that'll happen here real soon. But I'm not going to talk that much. Hey, turn that back around and start new. I'm here to ask you for another 4 years. Like I say, I've been here longer. Maybe I'm too old. I don't know. But I've enjoyed, that's been the biggest part of my life, the county commission. I've really enjoyed doing it. I've studied it. I've went to all kind of classes, try to do the best job I can. And I've listened to my people in my district. I listen to the people in Giles County too. It's just, we are Giles County commissioners. We're just not second district. We try to do our best and and keep our tax rate at the lowest level we possibly can. But ladies and gentlemen, inflation is eating us alive. Sometimes you have to make some hard decisions on the county commission. And since I've been there, there's been two tax increases. I voted for one, but one of them I didn't vote for. But we didn't have no other choice. We got over $1 million taken away from us. We had to do that. 5 more seconds.
No. That's it.
I'm going to get to the last word. I appreciate everybody here, and it came here tonight, and all of my colleagues here. I appreciate y'all. I think the county commission is doing an outstanding job. So.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and amend it to 2 minutes for each one of you, sir.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's okay, Stoney, don't feel bad. Go ahead, Mr. Jones.
I'm here tonight asking for your vote also. I've known Stoney for a while. I don't know if I've seen him very many times without his hat. I respect Stoney. I love his hat. If you know it, you know what I mean. I'm asking for your vote. And I appreciate all my colleagues. I've learned a lot with these people. I've learned a lot with the people that we have meetings with. It was said a few nights ago that you may not want to vote. Let me say this without stepping on some toes. It was sort of said, and I'm going to paraphrase, don't vote for this guy here because he's not from here. He don't speak like we do. He don't talk like we do. He's got an accent. I'm going to say this. I want your vote, but we're a diverse, we thrive on diversity here in Giles County. Giles County is a diverse group. I would never tell you, I want you to listen to Tom. We don't look alike. You're not from here. You weren't born here. People talk about you need to get your homegrown people. You know, you can have your diversity as long as you keep it over there. That's not what we're about. No, we don't do that. If you feel like voting for Tom, vote for him. I urge you to vote for him. I like Tom. I like everybody. I want your vote. So, yeah, I urge you not to vote for him, but I want your vote. But we need to think, we're blessed, and we need to thank God. By His grace and mercy, we are still the United States of America and not the divided States of America. If I win or lose, I'm still going to shake this man's hand, whatever we got to do. I'm going to try to help him no matter which way this turns out. I want to be there. I want to be for Giles County, not for Terry Jones to win this. I want to be for everybody.
Thank you. Mr. Womble?
So I have 6 minutes.
No. I thought he was going to push you to 2.5 there, but he didn't.
I'm David Womble. I would like to continue serving District 2 in all of Giles County, so I'm here to ask you for your vote. I'm going to spend the rest of my time on the sales tax. I used to agree with I'll never vote a tax on myself until this year. This 0.25% sales tax increase can mean between $480,000 and $1 million. I've heard so many different estimates to our school system. And what it means to me is when I go to Winter's Circle and buy breakfast or a Sundrop and a Snickers and I spend $3.94, it's now going to cost me $3.95. This is 1 penny on the $4 you spend. You stop at Richland Trace or Richland Market, whichever way you drive, you're going to, on a normal morning, you're going to spend another penny. But we're also going to get another penny out of everybody that stops at any interstate exit and everybody that just shops at the dollar stores. And that 1 penny on $4 is going to turn into $400,000 worth of raises for our teachers. That's all I got to say about that. Now, I will say, Melissa Green and her office have spent hundreds and hundreds of hours bringing in these COVID tax relief dollars for our county. Terry talked earlier about the police service radios. We're working on a project with that money to bring in a digital system where we'll have service throughout the whole county. We've purchased the Swans building and turned it into our EMS headquarters. Those millions of dollars that are coming to Giles County through these COVID funds, the federal government doesn't just give them to you. They don't just mail you the check. You have to go after it, and you have to do cross every T, dot every I, and our current county executive has done that. And I appreciate her service, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dennison.
I'd like to thank everyone who is here today and listening and giving us your time. It's kind of you to come and show that you're interested in your county. As I said at the beginning, I would like to have your vote. I'm a conservative Republican. I'm asking for your vote humbly so that I can somehow give back. I'm an attorney, don't hold it against me, but I believe that there's some things that I have learned that could help and that I could help contribute to the way laws are made and ordinances and things of that nature are done. But I also look at things practically. I would want to do a line item inspection of our budget first before we jump to this conclusion of raising your taxes. When you're paying almost $6 a gallon for diesel, every penny counts. That's the way I look at things. I don't want to raise taxes. I don't believe in zoning the county. I believe we have to stop this real estate tax increase boondoggle that they only gave us 4 days to appeal our real estate tax assessments that raised some people's real estate tax assessments by 100% or more. That was inexcusable what's been done to us on our real estate tax assessments. There was no information on how you could appeal your real estate tax assessments. Even as an attorney, I couldn't read the papers. It was wrong, and I think it has to be looked at again. I don't care what Murray's doing. I don't care what Davidson's doing. I care what's happening here. I know every farmer I ever spoke to, the government didn't give them any money. County didn't give them any money when they needed it. They worked and they ran their household and their family and their farm so that they could get through it. They didn't look to say, someone give me money out of the blue. So let's think and run our county the way you ran your farms. Give tax incentives to bring people in. And if we do that, we can have a even more successful county.
Thank you, guys.
Is that it? Woo. Y'all put me by all your public speakers.
All right, hey, this is the big break. I'm calling it a 10-minute break, but you might want to get back here quicker than that. Up next will be District 5 candidates when we get going back. HolliesPrinting.com.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County's needs are best served by dedicated local volunteers, someone like you. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. There are multiple ways to serve, and regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. If you've considered becoming a Giles County Fire and Rescue volunteer or would like to donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that. Celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
There's never been a better time to sell your property than right now. So let your best friend in real estate help you get the best deal when selling your property. Haney Realty and Property Management will help you evaluate your property and the market to help you find the best buyer and the best price. Throughout the process, your best friend in real estate will be there with you to help you make the best decision for you and your family. So call Haney Realty and Property Management at 931-347-9150 or visit their office at 109 South 1st Street, just off the Pulaski Square.
First Realty Group is a proud supporter of the students and faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or Visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org. M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. And like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South First Street in Pulaski.
This is David Bushman. I'm the board chair of the advisory board for the Giles County Fire and Rescue. We have an organization of dedicated over 40 volunteers that are on the front lines every day fighting fires, responding to emergency rescue situations in Giles County. We have a very dedicated family of firefighters. We're looking for more volunteers. Giles County could use as many volunteers as possible. We also could use financial support. As you know, it takes a lot of money to run 7 fire stations across the county. You can go on gilescountyfireandrescue.org. If you'd like to be a firefighter, we'd love to have you. Come help make a difference in your community. Join our family. Again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart as a Giles County citizen.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running for, and why they should vote for you. With a wide range of campaign marketing materials from Holly's Printing, signs, banners, cards, stickers, promotional items, and targeted mailings are all proven ways to reach voters with your platform. And Holly's Printing provides all of these services and more. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Holly's Printing is your campaign materials headquarters. Call 363-3161 or visit them online at hollysprinting.com.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing.
All right, let me go ahead and call the District 5 commissioners up here. This is going to be a big group,
Get
y'all.
the best price possible for your.
I will ask you guys to reel out the candidates as you come up to notice that I pulled the microphones closer to your chair, to the edge of the table. We've had some complaints about people being able to hear. I would appreciate if you keep that microphone right there in front of your face when you're talking so that they can hear. Guys, come on up. District 5. I'll start calling your names out. Lower Samet. And while they're getting in their seats, would everybody please go ahead and find their seats. Brad Butler. Gayle Jones. Bobby J. Morgan. Tommy Pollard. Matt Rubelski. And Katie Whitfield. Everybody, please start finding your seats. We got everybody. Have we got everybody up here? We just like Mr. Rubelski. If you run in here when I said it just a minute ago, folks, I've moved those microphones towards the edge of the table. People online are having a difficulty hearing, so please make sure you speak into the microphone. Appreciate you guys being here just like everybody else. And we'll do just like we've been doing. We'll start with the introductions here with Mr. Rubelski. And I will, if he'll just give me a second, I'll give you a point and we'll get her started.
1 minute, sir.
All right. Well, I got here just in time. So let me introduce myself. My name is Matt Rebelski, and I'm running for County Commissioner for District 5. I'm not a politician. I'm a plain and simple man. And I'll just tell you a little bit about me since I've never, been in a political office. I am a God-fearing man. I love Jesus and my family and my country, and it goes in that order. I am a conservative. I am running as a Republican. I think that less government is better, ultimately. I am married, been married to my wife for 28 years, and I have 4 beautiful kids, ranging anywhere from almost 24 to 15. We've lived here in Giles County for 15 years, and this is home. And I'm trying to get my family, I'm trying to get my mom and dad to move out this way. I'm a businessman. I've been a business management leadership for the past 20 plus years, and I love Giles County, and I would appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Tommy Pollard.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for being here, and I appreciate it. And I have been commissioner for, finishing up my 4th term. And I tell everybody, anywhere, every day is a holiday if you love your job. I love my job as commissioner. Sometimes not very rewarding, but you lose a few battles, but you haven't lost the war. You keep on. But I love my county, my country. I served in the Marine Corps during Vietnam. I love my country. I love the people here. I love dealing with them. I want to be your commissioner again for 4 more years. If you will see fit to vote for me, I was not going to run because of my hearing. Melissa knows that. I have to get on commissioners all the time. But Dr. Haney, Dr. Galbraith told me, Tommy, don't worry about hearing. You know how to vote. Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Morgan.
My name is Bobby James Morgan. I live in this community over last 30 years. I used to work at a plant, and I took the inventory control over. When I took it over, it was $1.2 million in inventory. When I left, it was $250,000. I saved the company $1 million. And I think that with all my experience, I used to work at Captain D's. I was the manager there for 2 years. There's another plant I worked, overseed having all the trailers repaired. I had 5 people under me. I had to give them the road test, driver's test, and issue the license to them. So I think I'm very well qualified to be your next commissioner, and I thank you for your vote.
Thanks, sir. Ms. Jones, Gayle Jones.
My name is Gayle Jones. I'm an incumbent running again to represent District 5. I am happy for you to know that I am a Republican. You will see an R next to my name on the ballot. I have been a Republican since I repented for voting for Jimmy Carter around 1978. My husband is George Jones. We've been married 47 years. He does not need a rocking chair. We have 2 wonderful children, a wonderful son-in-law and a wonderful daughter-in-law. We have 3 grand boys. We all live in Giles County. We all have skin in the game. I first served on the commission in the mid-1990s. Coming onto the commission at that time, I was faced with the decision whether or not to support the countywide trash hauling endeavors. The scuttlebutt at that time from the ones that had been on the commission was that it was mandated by the state. It was not. The TCA code had not been interpreted correctly. And after a bit of a fight, finally we decided to trash that idea, and the county stayed out of the trash hauling business, and the private haulers were allowed to continue to work as independent businessmen, and I see they're still in business today. So the lesson of this story is don't believe everything a politician tells you. Trust but verify. And I have more later.
Brad Butler.
My name is Brad Butler. I'm an incumbent 5th District Commissioner, and I'm running for re-election as a Republican. Been a Giles County resident my entire life. My family's been here for over 150 years. We've owned businesses here most of that time. I married Samantha Taylor. She's also a lifelong Giles County resident, and we have 3 children, 2 of which are still in school at Richland. One of them graduated in 2020. I've enjoyed my time on the commission, and I'm here to ask for your vote to put me back on the commission again. Hopefully you will agree with what I have to say, and you'll push that button for me. Thank you.
Lois Emmett.
I am Lois Emmett. I'm a widow. My husband was in the Navy just shortly after we married. We moved to Norfolk, Virginia, lived there for a short period of time. At that time, I worked 3 jobs to help raise my family. I looked for a good babysitter because my child was 2 years old at that particular time. And so I had to figure out how to balance my work life with my family life, and I think I did that. I came back to Giles County and have lived here for quite a few years, and I have my daughter was a veterinarian. I'm sure many of the people in the audience knew Dr. Angela Emmett Tucker. My son is a sports recruiter, so both of my children entered into what I would call community service. I also have entered into community service, and throughout this particular speaking, I'll tell you about a lot of the things that I'm involved in, but I'm probably one of the most qualified people for this particular position. I have a degree from Vanderbilt. It's an executive management position. I managed an organization in the Army that was a $400 million organization, had 100 employees. Right now, I'm also chairman of the senior center here in the town, and I now run a small business. Thank you.
Thank you, Lois. Katie Whitfield.
Hi, I'm Katie Whitfield. I have lived here in Giles County for about 8 years. 10 years ago, my husband and I, pregnant with our first child, were on a road trip through Tennessee, saw how beautiful it was here, and when my baby was a year old, we moved here. When we did, the realtors laughed at us and said, "Why are you moving to this retirement community?" And we're like, "Oh, I don't know, are we?" But that's not what I see here. What I see is a young, vibrant community that is growing with families who want the best for their children. And that's why I'm running. It's for the people of the county. I'm mother of 3 children now, and I looked at the county commission and realized there were no mothers on the commission with children in the school system, and I think that we deserve a voice. I think we have a very powerful voice and a lot to offer, and so that's why I'm running. I haven't even talked about myself, but I'm qualified in lots of ways. I've done a lot for the community in terms of creating events, opportunities for children, and I will be happy to talk about all of that later.
Thank you.
All right, first question tonight. Where would you most like to see progress for Giles County in the next 4 years, and what will it take to make it happen?
Start with Mr. Rubelski.
Okay. I think ultimately what we need to do is we need to think of a long-term plan, come up with, 5, 10, 15 years out. And everything I'm saying that we might already have those things done. I'm sure we have. But ultimately, we've got to find growth. When we look at the schools, we're talking about taxing. I think ultimately we're taxed enough. If you were to tally everything on the tax, ultimately it's about 29.2%, almost 30% of our money goes towards taxes. So I'm against taxes. We've got to find different ideas, like Tom was even talking about. We've got to make it attractive to bring businesses in here. So I am for growth. We've got to find businesses in here, the right kind of businesses, industry business. Yes, we can bring in retail and other things like that. But ultimately, what we need to do is we need to grow. And we need to get money. So if you've got a home, there's only a few ways for you to get money. You're either going to have to find another job, or you're making more money,
you're going to have to either do 2 jobs, or you come in and you're trying to get increases. But ultimately, I think the way that we can grow and the focus needs to be is we need to attract businesses in here. And that'll help us where we don't have to raise taxes. We can use those tax dollars from those businesses to help us get to the funding of where we need to be.
Thank you, Mr. Pollard.
Yes, yeah, we need revenue in the county. And one place, if it could happen, which is not very likely, I-65, Highway 64, that is the busiest 2 roads in our county. And if you could get something done there, you get a lot of revenue. But we have tried and tried. I went to school with some of these heirs. You can't get along with them. And so we've tried to do that. That would be good. Bill, you know what I'm talking about. But that is a busy, busy place. If you had stuff out there, how do you get it? I have no idea, because you can't get the land. So that's the problem there. But factories in here, yes, we need to have factories, and we need to do that because the plain and simple, what I've heard about on education here, and I have heard this already, when school starts back, we're going to be short school teachers because they can go right across this county line if they're 4 or 5 miles from it and make $7,500 more a year. I brought this up in a budget committee, and I know, it costs money, but they said, would you raise property taxes to give teachers a raise? No, I will not raise taxes. With everything that's going on right now, gas, food, and everything, you cannot do that to people. You just cannot do it. They're struggling. If you're on a fixed income, you're just about struggling. You cannot put more burden on these people. So we've got to figure out some way to do something. How? It's going to take a lot of planning. Thank you.
Mr. Morgan.
I think Tommy hit the nail on the head about 64. You got exit 14. We might not be able to get it developed, but I like to see retail shops all the way from exit 14 all the way to Walmart. One way we can get it done, let's get a sewer line going out that way. You see a lot of business coming after that. At the same time, I think schools are one of our number 1 priorities. Teachers pay, curriculum, better schools. You get industry in, how you get industry in? They want incentives, they want new houses. What else they want? Schools. Schools is one of the main topics to get people to come in here. Thank you.
Ms. Jones.
Okay, progress for Giles County. How do you define progress? Is it only about money? I'd like to see communities restored. We have communities that have been going downhill for a long time. You think about in the 5th district, we have Beach Hill and Bunker Hill, and then also other communities throughout the county. You have Frankie and Campbellsville. Once upon a time, they were thriving communities. They had homes, they had schools, they had churches, and they had businesses. One thing that has been done in the last 4 years since I've been on the commission, we have been able to defeat the 2003 noxious zoning plan. That zoning plan, in case you don't know, was had put everything outside of municipalities, the existing municipalities, into a zone called FAR. That's Forestry, Agricultural, Residential. No businesses. And the zoning lawyer that came down here and talked to the commission and others that are on the zoning board told us we needed to tell all the businesses that had opened up since 2003, tell them if they're in the county, tell them to close down. Really? What's that going to do for economic progress? So the other question is, how do we get to building up our communities, which I think would bring in a lot of economic progress. I think eventually we'll see schools and we'll see churches open back up there. We'll see communities forming, and they won't just be retirement communities. They'll be thriving businesses. I think we're going to have a strategic plan. We don't have a strategic plan. We had a PowerPoint. We had 2 meetings that we called brainstorming, and what we decided was what we already knew. Our school buildings needed to be updated, modernized, and made more livable for the students and the teachers.
Thank you. Mr. Butler?
Repeat the question, please.
Where would you most like to see progress for Giles County in the next 4 years, and what will it take to make it happen?
Where would I like to most see progress in the county? Well, I want to see our school buildings fixed. We've started that project. We've got it going. I want to see that come to completion. Whether or not we can do it in 4 years, I don't know. There's a lot of work needs to be done. 4 years ago, when I got on the commission, I wanted to have a sports park in the county. We thought we were going to have that done out at exit 14. Landowners wouldn't cooperate, so it got knocked off the drawing board. But I would still like to see that. You put one of those in, things are going to grow up around it. I've done the numbers on it. I mean, the millions of dollars that would come in from sales tax with everybody that travels. I'm a crazy travel ball parent. I'm leaving in the morning at about 7 o'clock to head to Hartsville, Alabama for a softball tournament. They're going to get tax dollars down there. We need that here. So in the next 4 years, I'd like to see that. I'd like to see our schools get fixed up the way they need to be fixed up. I like what Gayle said about the communities. Beach Hill had a school. It was a community. We took that school away in the late 70s. It's not a community anymore. You look at Bodenham, it's gone. Same thing. We took the school away. So there was talk about building a new high school. I think maybe we need to, but I think maybe we need to look at where to put it, and that's not in Pulaski. We need to go south. That's where the growth is coming. We need to be looking to Ardmore. We need to be looking to Elkton, to Prospect in that area, because they're going to come get us. I worked in Athens when Madison started taking Athens. I saw Huntsville take Madison. I witnessed Spring Hill get swallowed up by Franklin and Columbia. It's going to happen here, so we need to be ready for it, and I think that's one way we can by preparing the south end of the county for what's coming.
Thank you. Ms. Amick?
A lot of people over these 3 nights have talked about growth and about bringing new industry in and that sort of thing. I'm going to talk about something different. I'm going to say that I want to keep my Giles County students here in Giles County. And according to doing that, I'm on what's called the Workforce Development Committee here in Giles County. And what we do is we try to put together information for the Giles County students. And we just recently had what we call our Career Expo. We had all 8th grade kids, all 11th and 12th grade students come out to the Ag Park, and we showed them a lot of the jobs that are available here in Giles County so that they could decide if they were in the 8th grade, what's their career path going to be and what kind of studies do they need to do. And then we helped the 11th and the 12th grade students actually talk to some of the companies here in town. I want to keep those kids here in Giles County. I don't want them going to Columbia. I don't want them going to Huntsville. I don't want them going other places. I worked in Huntsville most of my career, and it was a great career. I really, truly enjoyed it. But I went there because I couldn't find a job here in Giles County that would pay me a decent salary. So what I want to do, I want to keep those kids here in Giles County. I want to make sure they know what's available to them. I want them to know ahead of time what kind of classes do they need to take. If we're going to bring all this industry in, we better have a workforce to take their places. Thank you.
Ms. Amick, would you, as a commissioner, support scholarshiping high school students for EMS and paramedic classes with the promise of a job on graduation?
Well, that's a no-brainer. Certainly I would. And there's also quite a few internships that are available. And that's some of the things we need to educate our companies on, because there's a lot of money out there that will pay the companies to actually take some interns into their organizations, into their companies. But yes, any way we can keep some of those people here or encourage others, whether they are students or whatever, to come in and support our county. I definitely would be for that.
Thank you, Lois. Katie?
So over the last month or so since these debates were announced, I made a point to reach out to all the stakeholders in the county that I could think of, that I could get a hold of, who have experience and expertise in what's been done in the past, to know where I might say we should progress in the future. And everybody has their own preferences and their pet projects, but the bottom line is it comes down to access. So that means access to quality education and quality teachers, meeting students where they're at so that they can succeed to the best of their abilities, no matter where on that ability spectrum they lie. Access to the right jobs, not just a job, but the right job for the right person. There is a whole untapped workforce out there that I don't think anybody's addressed. Working mothers, they can't work a factory job. They can't work a third shift if they're a single mom. So they need a job that works with school schedules, that's flexible, and that pays a living wage. And there aren't a lot of those in this county. We need access to retail, dining, fine arts, entertainment, healthcare, all of those things that the bigger, more wealthy cities have and counties have. I'm tired of driving out of this county to spend my money. And I'm the one that spends my family's money. After the bills are paid, after the mortgage and the utilities, there's groceries, there's clothes, there's all those other things. My money goes elsewhere. And I think we could do a lot to attract businesses to our county that provide competition and sales, grocery sales and things like that, that really can stimulate the economy here, raise that tax base. Access to affordable housing so that, families can succeed. And then other things like internet, countywide internet we've talked about a lot tonight. Our children should be getting STEM education and technology education to be competitive in the country, in the globe today, and that requires internet. Access to first responders coming quickly, access to food. We haven't talked anything hardly about that. Animal control, domestic violence support, and drug and alcohol rehab, the sheriff candidates talked a bit about. But access to all of those things are things that we as Giles County residents should have. We deserve nice things too.
All right. Yes.
Could I respond to Mr. Keith's question?
Anybody that wants to can go ahead and respond to that.
Okay, you talk about paramedics, EMTs, and deputies, policemen, and things like that, scholarships. Okay, yeah, I agree. Because that field right there is one that we have to discuss all the time in the county. Nobody wants to stay in these positions because of the demand that they have put on them, especially during this coronavirus with dealing with people. And it's hard to keep these people here. So I'm for trying to help all I can. Okay, and teachers, let me tell you something. And I know Shelley's a teacher. Some more teachers here. They're not just teachers, they're babysitters. They're nurses. They're advisors. They try to help these children at school. They do everything. So if you do not have good teachers, a building does not teach students. The teachers do. We got to figure out something here somehow, some way to keep teachers and our paramedics and deputies here.
Let's just go ahead and ask Mr. Rebelski. We'll just start with you and get everybody else in on that follow-up question, just to be fair. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think
1 minute, please.
I think ultimately when you look at it, retention overall for any business is a big concern. Because you can look across really all of America right now, and every business, they're having a hard time of holding on to their people. And I think those are things that you got to look at. I think for the teachers, and really any public office into those things, we need to kind of shout out what's important, kind of talk about the retirement, talk about the pensions, talk about the holidays, bring in the positive things into those aspects there for these state and county positions here. And we talk a lot about the bad, let's talk about the good. And then we can look at things of, hopefully as when we bring good business in here and we're able to get those tax dollars up, or then we can get more money to attract. Ultimately, it's been mentioned, school is extremely important, and that's what's attracting. We got, down south and above us, we got two of the biggest counties right there.
And we need to be asking them questions of what they've done because they're doing something right, and we need to do those same things here.
Mr. Morgan, do you remember the question? If you're willing to, I'll let Ricky restate it.
I'll restate it. As a commissioner, would you support, as a county commission, scholarshiping high school students for EMS or paramedic classes, and we could expand that to police academies and so forth, on the promise that they would have a job on graduation back in the county?
Yeah, I think that's a very good program. It may need to be expanded, but yes, it's a good program for the kids, for everybody. It goes all over the nation. Yes, we need to get that done. Thank you.
Ms. Jones.
Well, I'd like to repeat what Lois said. Why wouldn't I? But you know, it's not just pay that is the problem. I'm going to touch on teachers' pay or teachers' retention. Is it only about pay? Because some teachers just quit. And you think about the reasons, other than retirement, of course, working conditions, heavy-handedness by the federal government and what they require, the paperwork they're required to do, testing, and they're pushed to teach things maybe they don't want to. I don't know how much time I have.
Okay, Mr. Butler.
Yes, I think doing a scholarship for the training is a good idea, as long as we make sure that they stay with us a long enough amount of time that we get that money back. We got to pay for it. You know,
Exactly.
whether Roy can get the money to pay for it, I don't know. I mean, we're constantly asking for money. You know, everybody complains about people wanting to raise taxes. Well, they don't want to raise taxes, but they want more services. Well, where are you going to get the money? You've got to get it somewhere. And if Roy can find a place in the budget that he can pay for their schooling and let them work it out with him when they get done, I'm all for that, because at least that way maybe we can keep them around for 2, 3, 4 years.
Lois already answered that, so Katie.
I think it's a great idea in theory. There's a lot of careers that you can get into with assistance and help like that. The CT program at the high school is doing a great job of certifying kids straight out of high school to go into careers, whether it's Adobe Illustrator or other more technical fields. Helping the ambulance service would be great. I know that I was at that meeting where they were talking about how they were having a hard time finding staff. There's even a program through the state for teachers, Grow Your Own, where educational assistants in the classroom can earn their teaching degrees while they work for free. I asked Dr. Beard about this. Why aren't we having this here? Because we're right in a college town. And she said, we don't have someone to administrate the program. And so it's kind of a chicken egg thing. If you don't have the support to run these programs, they're not going to function. So it takes some planning.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Success comes in cans. Failure comes in cans. We have two options for increased revenue: raise taxes or increase the tax base. So I'm going back to our interstate. We have a stream through Giles County. We know what the problems are, but what are some creative ideas for tapping into the revenue from I-65 exits?
Start with Mr. Pollard, please.
Okay, I understand the revenue we have got to have. How you can tap into this, I do not know without being able to develop these interstate exits and on-ramps. I don't know how you could do it out there to get that. I know you have exit 1, you have some things down there, maybe some land there that you could do something with. Exit 6, yes, you could do a little there, but all these have gas stations and hotels right now. So what more can you put there? I don't know the answer to that. But like restaurants or small restaurants or Cracker Barrel, yeah, that would be nice to get it. But to get this stuff cost you money to get them to come here too, which you're going to get money in return. But how you can do that is the problem. Getting the land and giving the tax breaks for people to come here, which is worth it for the revenue. So we got to tap into that somehow. And like I say, exit 14, 64, and I-65, that's the busiest intersection in this state, in this county right here. If we could do something there, we get some revenue. But how to get more from these exits and on-ramps, I don't know how we could do it. But I wish we could.
Mr. Morgan?
Well, Thomas hit on some good points there. But one thing about it, like at exit 14, we're going to have an infrastructure there. We're going to have lights, water, power. And I think we ought to go ahead and start doing that. And you say, well, we got the hours to work there. Well, okay. We get the spokesperson, get some good lawyers. If it was tangled up, we can untangle it. It may take a while. As one man said, we're going to the moon. Decade later, we win. Can't do anything, but can. We got to have positive. We got to have a positive mental attitude on this. We can get it done. There's nothing we can't do in this county. If we set our minds to it and say, we're going to find a way to make it happen. It'll happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Let's try something different. Let's put some new faces out there to represent the county. Let's put Thomas Dennison on the Economic Development Board. That's it.
Mr. Butler?
Revenue off I-65. Well, exit 1 is kind of landlocked. You can't do much down there. But it does have Ardmore, and if nobody's noticed, Ardmore's growing. There's stuff coming in down there. Exit 6, I believe it was deemed the best exit for developing industry. I know we've got a medical office that's come in down there. I haven't heard anything for sure, but I believe the truck stop is going to undergo an expansion down there. We've got Corner Pit and Wyzant over at Bryson, just right down the road. There's some areas there if we can get the land. And retail is going to develop organically. We can't make them come, but if the numbers are there, and if somebody spurs it, like the truck stop down there, if they do expand and they do make it nicer, that's going to make that land more attractive for other stuff to come in. Exit 14, we've been through this and through this and through this. There's too many problems out there. It's the best exit we've got by far with 65 and 64, but people don't want to give up the land. We tried to go off the highway and get land off the highway. That didn't work either. They didn't want to give it up. There was just too many things. But I do think we need to keep an eye on it. And again, if the businesses want to come, they're going to make it happen. If Pilot wants to come in there and locate, they're going to make it happen. They're going to find those people, and they're going to get them the money, and they're going to get that land. Exit 22 is probably right now the most potential we've got. There's development on the Marshall County side. There's a big tract of land that's just opened up on the Giles County side. I'm guessing that it's going to be up for sale, or they're going to try to sell it to developers. So I think it's coming, but again, it's got to develop on its own. We can't make it develop, but by having UT Southern here now, that's a draw for kids coming in. That's a draw for people coming to visit them. So the developers, the business people, the retailers, they're going to see what we've got going on, and they're going to start coming in here.
Thank you, Ms. Hammond.
Like a good politician, I'm going to change that question around. I'm going to say there are other options rather than the two that were given to us. I'm going to say that as a county commissioner before, what I did is I put together a subcommittee that met at night so people from the county could come. I talked to every department head that works for the county. I asked them while I talked to them, are there any way that you can cut any of the cost within your organization? And we talked a lot about what those particular cuts could be. Then I ask them, what is your vision for your department? Where do you really see your department going? When the department heads come to the county commission, they usually come with a very specific request, a problem, a challenge. We very seldom get to hear where those department heads really see their department going. So I allow them to talk to me and talk to the members of my subcommittee about what they saw happening, what they thought they could do, where they thought they could cut costs. And then I documented that in a report that I put out that was available to all of the county. Now, I will say that when you hold the meetings at night, there seemed to be a difference of opinion about whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of people work different hours and aren't available to come at night. So you have that particular problem. So it's still worth trying. I still think that one of the main things that I think I'm a pretty smart person, but I know that I'm not smart enough to answer every question that comes up. So I am really interested in hearing what the county citizens want for their county. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Whitfield?
So can or can't, I like to ask how. How can we do these things? I sat through the county commission meetings for some budget meetings and things, and the word I heard most was no, nay. And people were coming asking for their departments, for their organizations, requesting resources from the county, and person after person was denied their requests. And there wasn't a lot of discussion about how can we make this happen? What do we need to do to allow for these resources to become available to the citizens of Giles County? And I think there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that I wasn't privy to, but I think that the communication between the departments and the commission, communication between the commission and the school board, all those things would make it so that solutions can be found, and it's not just a yes or no question. And whether or not that involves developing the highway exits, I'm not sure. I looked at the per capita spending in the counties north and south of us. If you look around us, we spend $10,000 per person in our county. North and south of us, more like $12,000 or $13,000, which means I'm going to those counties and spending my money. They're spending more in their counties than we are. Let's spend our money here. Let's develop this county internally so that we can support our interests and really develop internally to provide for our citizens.
Let us get through. I got one more person and then move up. Mr. Rebelski.
I am a can-do person. Can't's not, in my vocabulary. And I'm not the smartest person out there. I mean, but we continue to talk about exit 1, 6, 14, and 22. I understand, we can't, nor do we want individuals to be forced to sell their land to do, to help develop, our county. I think some of the best questions out there are going to be from our people. So let's ask the people in our districts. Let's ask the people of Giles County. Let's get some ideas. And even more importantly than that, what we can do is you go up the street, Murray County. They've got the same thing. Their exits are far away. They're booming. They've got tax revenue. They get everything going on. They're doing something right. Why don't we go talk to them, find out what they've done, learn from them, steal and take their ideas, and then put it in here to Giles County.
Okay. Gayle had
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, in defense of the budget committee, we said a lot of yeses, but the no's were heard a lot in the charitables. In my opinion, charitables mostly should be given by individual donations, and that's why you heard a lot of no's at the end of the budget committee meeting.
All right. Next question, please.
For the past 3 nights, there's been a lot of talk about progress. There's been a lot of talk about education and things that we need to add and change, and a lot of talk about business development, infrastructure. There's also been talk that there's no budget surplus and no one wants a tax increase. So my question is this: where do you stand with using responsible debt as a tool for long-term development?
This will be for Mr. Morgan, and I would like to say that this is most likely going to be our last question. I'm sorry but there's just a lot of you guys, you know.
Fifth District's popular.
But I'm probably going to, if we do it this way, I'll give you a little extra time at the end when you have your comments.
And it's cold in here too.
Would you repeat the question?
Yeah, Mr. Morgan, repeat the question, and Mr. Morgan will start.
Yes, with all of our progress that we all want and we all talk about, we do know that we do not have a budget surplus, nor do we want tax increases. So where do you stand with using responsible debt as a tool for long-term development?
Well, like I said before, I think we need to put a sewer line in out there at exit 14. Even if we don't get exit 14, that's fine. You go on past it. There's land on past it you can get. We can develop that land all the way to Walmart. We don't necessarily have to have it right on exit 14. You go on past, you go on town, all over the United States. You find off interstates, you find buildings a mile on down the road. We don't necessarily have to have it right on exit 14. Go on down the road. That's my opinion.
Ms. Jones?
Well, I think there'll come a day when we may have to have some responsible debt. Lots of projects out there that we may have to take on. But I think if we could plan a little better, we actually had a strategic plan, it would help us to avoid unnecessary debt, and it would help us to put a timeline on when we're going to do what.
Mr. Butler?
It's inevitable. I mean, if we're going to grow, if we're going to build stuff, we're going to have debt. We can't do it debt-free. But you fund the debt with bonds, pay it off. You know, it's not been that long ago that we were in debt. We did owe for stuff. We're proud to be debt-free, but we can't live like that forever, or we're going to keep in the situation of, well, we need to build a school, but we don't have the money. We need to build an ambulance department, but we don't have the money. We're going to have to take on debt sometime, and as long as it's done responsibly and we all come together on what it's for and we can agree to it as a commission, then I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing, but I do think we need to revisit our strategic plan for the future. It got interrupted last time with everything that went on with COVID and whatnot. I think we need to look at that again, and we really do need to decide where we're going to spend our money before we go back into debt.
Ms. Amy?
You know, when I'm at home and I'm looking at my budget and I'm looking at my refrigerator and I'm thinking it's 20 years old, and I'm thinking, why didn't I put some money back to replace that refrigerator? And when I became a county commissioner the last time, I wondered why we had not put money back to support our school systems. And now I know that the county is trying to do some of that. They have put some money aside to actually try to think about repairing the school system. I do think it's something that we are a little bit lax in thinking about reserving money. But I also agree with Brad. I think there's a time to use your funds that you do have or take on some sort of responsible debt for some of the things that all of the county wants, not something that just I want or some of the other commissioners want. I think we need to be really responsible in how we choose what those things might be.
Thank you. Ms. Whitfield?
So I've looked over, I requested a copy of the budget. I don't know if anybody else has done so, but I wanted to be educated. I read it cover to cover, and I had some questions, and I got them answered by Beth Sumners and Maura Sumners and Melissa Green and Dr. Beard and all the people who know the budget in and out. And I think that it is pretty tight the way it is. I mean, it's a lean budget, and I think to do any big projects, there's not much to put back. And like you said, and it would require some sort of bond to do any major project like a school or things like that. So if that's the direction the county commission decides to go in, it would probably need to be funded through some sort of large influx of cash. However, I also think there's an opportunity for the county to monetize a lot of the services they have, to create streams of revenue within the county offices. It is a business, as someone pointed out earlier. I think it was maybe Melissa Green in her statements. And it should be treated as such, and it could be revenue generating. So there's things like there's a contract for dead animal pickup that farmers get to use for free that the commission voted on, and I'm not sure why they're not charged for that service. The animal control, our animal control department right now is best in class in the state probably, with 2 deputies running it, sheriff's deputies. It could be monetized. It could become a hub. We are a hub, as we mentioned on 65 and 64 for the state. It could be monetized and become a revenue stream through the funds of private rescues and things like that. So there's a lot of opportunities like that for healthcare, bringing those revenue streams in, and not just going into debt. Let's increase revenue before we put ourselves in debt.
Thank you. Mr. Rebelski?
Yeah, I think debt is never a good thing. I think debt-free ultimately is the way to go. I think having and making sure that we have either a safe fund or a security fund is extremely important. We may not be in that situation now, but we've got to have a vision. We've got to have a plan. And I think if we can, bring new people into office, we can bring some new ideas and have some fresh thoughts that can come about. If you look at overall, if you look at a debt, there's no good debt, but if you're going to come in and you got to get a house, hey, live within your means into that. So if we're talking about we get strapped, we're getting in a situation, we got to do something, then you live within your means. Doesn't mean you may not be in a $300,000 house. Maybe it's a $100,000 house. Maybe instead of buying a new car, we're in the 5. And I'm saying those things in the sense of that's how we would spend the money, how I would spend the money, within our county, And in a payment, you try to come up with a plan, and not a 30-year plan, but maybe it's a 15, and you're like, you can see that vision. Hey, we can get out of this. This is where we're going to be ultimately, but it comes with a plan and a vision ultimately.
Thank you. Mr. Pollard?
Okay, I brought it up a few years ago that when they first started talking about building a new school, we need to put back some money. If we can put back $1 million a year on a new school, then eventually we could get one. But the price went out the roof. You can't, I think it started out at about $60,000. I mean, $60 million. Now it's $100 million. And I have no problem with the county borrowing a little money that is desperately needed. I got no problem with that. But right now is not the time to try to borrow that much money. The county cannot absorb that. And if you did that, and then you had an emergency somewhere else and you had to borrow more money, you're borrowed out. But, when you talk about exit 14 and everything, the water supply out there, Harper Shop said they would not put lines out there to do it. That was another problem. Well, electric, that's federal part of it. They will not do it. So see, our hands are tied. But you need to keep in mind, I learned this a long time ago. The wheels of progress turn very, very slow. You may think they've stopped sometime, but they still turn. So don't give up. Just keep on hoping.
Let's say we started with you on that, didn't we, Mr. Moore? You guys did such a good job answering that question in a timely manner. We are going to get to another one. So I caught Ricky off guard.
No, that's fine. This one's going to be very subjective. This will be a fun one. How would you sell Giles County to an outsider? What are our assets?
Ms. Jones, you'll be first.
Okay. Giles County is the land of milk and honey, and it is blessed by God, and the people, as far as I know, are the best in the world. But it is a beautiful county. You have such beautiful landscapes, and I just think I'd say come visit. You'll want to stay.
Thank you. Mr. Butler?
I do this quite frequently. when I'm talking to people, I tell them, my wife and I could live anywhere we wanted to. We choose to live right here. We love Giles County. It's a great place. There's great people here. Beautiful countryside. I mean, we've got every season known to man, all 4,000 of them. I mean, it's a great place with great people, great local establishments. There's nowhere else that I would want to live. So that's what I tell people that are looking to move in here when they want to come buy a house. That's what I tell people when I'm out dealing with them on my routes. It's just the best people, the best place, the best land. We've got it all, everything.
Thank you. Ms. Ament?
In my job with the federal government, I traveled a lot, went to lots of states across the United States. But I bet I'm just like each of you or any new person coming into the county. The minute I got back to Giles County, I said, I'm home. This is the best place I want to be. And I think anybody that moves here will be the same way about that. I live on a farm that overlooks the town of Giles County. So I look out every night in my bedroom and I see all the lights of Pulaski. And it's an amazing sight. And I can tell anybody that Giles County is one of the most beautiful states in the country.
Ms. Whitfield?
Well, I like to tell people that I live where people go to vacation and get away from it all. So how could you not want to live here? It's, I look out my kitchen sink, I'm doing dishes. I've got a pond in my backyard. There was a blue heron out there this morning. It's green year round, a beautiful magnolia tree in the front yard. And I came here from Texas and it's brown and flat and brown and dry. So we came here because it's beautiful. We came here because it's a small town feel, a great place to raise a family, where you can have an impact on your community by getting involved in local politics or creating events and organizations, starting a small business, getting to know the people who live around you and forming those connections. I lived in New York City for many years and I didn't know my neighbors, and I didn't, I had friends from college that went there with me and they were my friends, but here I've, built a whole new life in the last 8 years, and now my family is being raised here, and it's the wonderful wonderful place to raise a family.
Thank you. Mr. Rebelski?
17 years ago, we moved to North Alabama. Within 2 years, my wife finally said, I know you've always had a dream and you always wanted to have a farm. And when you cross exit 1, you have entered into God's country. You're now into Tennessee. And so when we just began to look and find this area, Giles County is where I decided where I wanted to be. It's got the best people. When my family comes in, it's really quick. If I wanted to sell Giles County, I take them downtown. They can talk. They can meet the people. My family constantly, anybody visitor comes in, they say everybody is friendly. They're nice. They welcome you, and it's family. It's easy to sell.
Thank you. Mr. Pollard?
Okay, if you remember the last 4 elections that I ran, I always said, I make no hesitation. I love my county. I do. I mean, I love my country and I love my county. If you have never been to another country, another state, especially another country, you really don't know what we have right here. That's what I would tell people. You really do not understand and know the family environment. We always agree? No. Do you always agree with your husband or your wife? No, you don't. I don't agree with mine. But that is part of, that's Tommy Pollard for you. But I'm telling you, we are close. It's kind of like I tell people when, well, it's like this. A veteran, a Marine or a veteran falls. All veterans that know that guy or know that person, they feel that. And so that is the way Giles County is, the way I want to keep it too. We're family, mostly. We don't agree, but we can disagree without being disagreeable. I love my county.
Thank you. Mr. Morgan?
Well, I've been here over 30 years. Somebody would have told me I'd been here that I be living in Giles County. I said, there's no way. But I'm here now, and I love this country. I love it. I've talked to people who moved in here, said the same thing. I didn't think I'd ever live in Pulaski, Tennessee, but I'm here now, and I love it. It grows on you. It grows on you. Thank you.
Did we start with you, Gayle? We started with you. No, we didn't? Okay.
This is the end, right? End of the.
No, we haven't started the wrap.
Oh, okay.
Well, did we start with you on that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So look, you guys are real good at being succinct. And so you have earned yourselves 2 minutes each to wrap up. And since we started everything on this end, we'll end everything and go this way.
It's waiting my turn to go first.
Katie Whitfield, if you don't mind, you have 2 minutes to wrap up your campaign.
If you didn't know, that's my boss. I write for the paper. If you recognize my name, I get asked a lot, where do I know you from? You might have seen my byline in the paper. You might know me because I started Touch a Truck here in Pulaski. I am the president of a 501c3, the Breastfeeding Support Group of Pulaski. So I may have helped you with your baby at some point. You may have attended Mama's Munchkins and Milk. Maybe my dog read with your child at the library when we did our therapy dog reading program over there. I've done a lot in the county on a grassroots level. I know how to make things happen without a big budget, or zero budget for that matter, like the Touch a Truck. And you may know my kids from sports. You may know me from just seeing me out and about. I have serious FOMO, if you know what that means, fear of missing out. If you're throwing an event, I'm probably there. And I think that boots on the ground attitude is what this county commission needs. People who are making change in the community, taking action where they see there's holes, things where there's needs, to fill those needs. And that's how I hope to grow my contributions. I felt called to serve in this role, and I think there's certain connections that can be made when you have a government position that you can't when you're just a layperson, and so I'm hoping to make those connections and really help people have their, like I mentioned, those pet projects, help people realize those needs, have them fulfilled. And like I said earlier, it's all about access. Let's give our families, our people living here, the opportunity to do everything that they can in any other county, because we are, like everyone just, it was like a cheerleading session up here for Giles County. It is a wonderful place, but I'm tired of leaving the county to go spend my money. So let me spend it here.
Lois Emmett.
Okay. As a county commissioner, I think I'm the only county commissioner that was elected to 2 state offices for county commissioners while I was a county commissioner. That's really unusual for Giles County. And why I'm telling you that is when you have 21 commissioners, it's really important to be able to communicate your ideas to what those other commissioners are. Part of my work is the federal government was, as I started as an analyst, so I'm really good at researching different challenges that we might have here in Giles County. That's one of my strengths. One of my strengths also is that I am involved in almost every activity that takes place in Giles County. I am into everything. I don't mind telling you all that. I go to every event that the library puts on. I'm part of 2 committees that are in the Economic Development Council. I take all of the notes for the county commissioners. So if you want to know what all's going on in the county, you can go to gilescountytennessee.com and look under commission and look under minutes. And I write every one of those. So I know what's going on in the county. I don't have to get up to speed because I'm there at every county meeting. I am part of a jail ministry that takes place here in Giles County. Haven't done quite as much since COVID, but I've taken all of the training, even for the latest things that Governor Lee's putting forth. So I'm for seniors, I'm for children and my workforce development, I'm for people that need second chances that are coming out of prison. I am for all those people that sometimes feel they don't have a voice in county government. And I request your vote. I promise you that I will be in touch with each of you as often as I can, and I humbly ask for your vote at this election. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Emmett. Brad Butler?
Well, Lois is a hard act to follow with that. I've been a commissioner for almost 4 years now. I decided to run 4 years ago because I was upset about what was going on with the school board and the whole new school thing. I think every time I saw Tommy, I'd bend his ear about it. He got to where he'd go the other direction when he saw me because he didn't want to talk about it anymore. I've learned a lot about how county government works in my 4 years on the commission. It's not at all how I thought, and I hear people talk about the county government, and I'm like, man, just, sit here with us for a little while. It's not, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. We have to actually get serious about some stuff. And I've been involved in this county for as long as I can remember. I mean, my dad was commissioner, I believe. He was always involved in politics. I guess I learned from him. I've been in business here myself since 2001 on my own business. Before that, my family had owned businesses. I'm involved in the county. My family is a member at St. Andrew's United Methodist Church. I'm the chairman of the trustees there, and we also sit on the admin council. We're at everything that goes on. I've been an ex officio member of the Chamber of Commerce and Tourism. So we're at just about every event we have. I'd humbly like to ask you to bring me back again for another 4 years. I am the incumbent, and I am running as a Republican for re-election, and if you would see fit to vote for me, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. Ms. Jones?
I want to mention just a few things that I worked on over the last 4 years. I worked really hard to dump the lump, the land use management plan, and that was definitely the highlight of the last 4 years. I've also worked toward transparency. It is an ongoing issue. Some success has been made, but more needs to be done. Allowing input from the citizens at full commission meetings. It is now a part of our commission rules. Any citizen may speak at a meeting as long as it pertains to the agenda, but it is only good for 1 year because some commissioners just don't trust the people. But hopefully, if I'm elected, we can work on getting that expanded, take that limitation off. Also, I've supported a resolution supporting the Second Amendment and a resolution urging the governor not to send refugees into Giles County. So now I will close. Oh, okay. All across America, Christians are taking seriously Isaiah 61. Arise, shine, for thy light is come. Christians are waking up. Many have been awake for a long time, but the ranks of the awake Christians are swelling. And it's happening here in Giles County. Christians, conservatives, Republicans have stepped up and said, send me, Lord. I'm one of those. The people of Giles County are calling for representation, transparency, and accountability. They want representatives that respect and acknowledge the Bible, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. The people of Giles County want representatives that they can trust to protect and uphold their values, God, family, and country. To the 5th District, I ask for your vote, and I promise to continue to work to make Giles County the land of milk and honey again.
Thank you very much. Mr. Morgan.
Let me say this. When I grew up, my mother had a sign up on the wall. You know what it said? It said, can't do anything, but can. I don't have a college education, but I got a PMA. You know what a PMA is? Positive mental attitude. Anytime you have a problem, you need to have a positive mental attitude. You're not going to get it solved with negative. It's like exit 14. We may get it done one day, but you gotta look at the problem and say, we're gonna find a way to make it happen. You gotta have a positive mental attitude about anything you wanna do. And that's my platform right there. And I hope you vote for me August the 4th. I don't wanna be a voice for the citizen. I wanna be a real voice for the citizen. Thank you.
Mr. Pollard?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I have been commissioner, like I said, 16 years, 5th district. I loved every bit of it. Like I said, you lose some battles, but you haven't lost a war. But I love my job. Okay, you say, I'm conservative. No, I'm not. I am an extreme conservative. The county commission knows they can't hardly get money out of me on my vote. And that's the way it is. If you need it, yes, I can do it, but if it's just what you want, that's different. But I tell anybody, I serve the people in my district the way I would want my commissioner to serve and represent me. That's what I go by. And I go by, well, Marine Corps motto, only go as fast as your slowest man, which some of y'all won't understand what that means. It means if you're in a battle, don't run off and leave your slow runner because he's going to be by himself. It does not mean make everybody as poor as the poorest. It does not mean that, but try to help these less fortunate people too along the way. That's exactly what that means, and that's what I try to do. I look at that like I look at my county, and I say it again, I love my county. God bless the USA, and God bless you. I want your vote.
Thank you. Mr. Rubelski.
Well, one thing that I've learned is life is short. And so the longer the good Lord allows me to live upon this earth, I realize, one, how precious it is and how short it is. And, that's one of the reasons I want to run. I want to run to give back to this county, to Giles County. I've got a conservative voice. And one thing that I found out, there's a lot of like-minded people that believe in God, that believe in a conservative government of where we need to be, that believe in the Bible. When you look at Genesis 1:27, that we're created in God's image, and He created male and female. Our media tries to say and push us into a lot of different directions, but I think when you actually get out and you talk to people, there's a lot of commonality out there. And, they seem like they want to say that it's moving into one direction or this is a dying breed here. But I am a conservative. I've got characters. I've got morals, and I'm vested here. This is home for me. And I ask for your vote as your county commissioner for District 5. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Great job, guys. And hated that we had to shut that down short, but I think we heard a lot of good things there. All right, we're going to take another 10-minute break. Maybe not quite 10 minutes, but I bet you there's some folks that needs to go down to the right when you get in the hall there. Just don't linger. We won't be too long. Up next will be our final group. That'll be the District 7 commissioners. Hey.
Order of the students and faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or or visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you make those important decisions. Haney Realty and Property Management is your best friend in the real estate business. And like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you along the way, making sure you understand the process and getting property that you want at a fair price. So call your best friend in the real estate biz at 931-347-9150 or stop by the Haney Realty and Property Management office at 109 South First Street in Pulaski.
Candidates, make sure the voters know who you are, what you're running for, and why they should vote for you. With a wide range of campaign marketing materials from Holly's Printing, signs, banners, cards, stickers, promotional items, and targeted mailings are all proven ways to reach voters with your platform, and Holly's Printing provides all of these services and more. Choose the materials that best fit your needs, choose the design that matches your message, and choose the size that gets your message the most attention. Holly's Printing is your campaign materials headquarters. Call 363-3161 or visit them online at hollysprinting.com.
Hi, this is Jen Williams with Giles County Fire and Rescue. Responding to 350 incidents per year from 7 locations throughout our county, Giles County Fire and Rescue exists to save lives and protect property. Giles County's needs are best served by dedicated local volunteers, someone like you. Giles County Fire and Rescue offers the highest level of skills and training, and we are committed to the safety of our community and our responders. There are multiple ways to serve, and regardless of where you are in the county, there's a Giles County Fire and Rescue station near you. If you've considered becoming a Giles County Fire and Rescue volunteer or would like to donate, visit our website at gilescountyfirerescue.org.
Over the past year, property values across the country have risen more than 10%. Giles County is growing, and you need an established and trusted real estate partner to make sure you get the best price possible for your property. First Realty Group is that partner, celebrating their 26th year here in 2022 and looking forward to helping you make the big decisions that will affect you and your family for years to come. Visit frg1.com. Let them show you why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
There's never been a better time to sell your property than right now. So let your best friend in real estate help you get the best deal when selling your property. Haney Realty and Property Management will help you evaluate your property and the market to help you find the best buyer and the best price. Throughout the process, your best friend in real estate will be there with you to help you make the best decision for you and your family. So call Haney Realty and Property Management at 931-347-9150 or visit their office at 109 South First Street, just off the Pulaski Square.
First Realty Group is a proud supporter of the students and faculties at Richland and Giles County High Schools and all Giles County schools. When the time comes to sell your property or buy that dream spot, make sure you seek out one of the real estate professionals at First Realty Group. You can see their listings at www.frg1.com. Call them at 363-2644 or visit them on the east side of the Pulaski Square. Just look for that big rocking chair and find out why First Realty Group is first for a reason.
Are you ready for your next challenge? I'm Ryan Cox with Giles County Fire Rescue. 7 stations in Giles County have fired up the call for volunteers to join forces for fire protection and emergency rescue response. No matter where you are in Giles County, there's a place to serve near you. Giles County Fire Rescue is always looking for bright and enthusiastic people to volunteer. Our members come from all walks of life. Serve and protect your family, your friends, your neighbors by volunteering with Giles County Fire Rescue. To volunteer or donate, visit our website website at gilescountyfirerescue.net.
M&M Staffing LLC is your local connection when you're looking for your next job or your company is looking to fill a position. M&M Staffing is owned and operated by Melissa Bottoms Harper and John Harper. They staff various positions on multiple shifts and provide flexible services to assist their clients. Mercedes Houston, Cree Holt, and John Harper are all from Giles County and are trained to match their employees with the positions that best fit their skill sets. Applications are available at 450 Bennett Drive in Pulaski, on their Facebook page, and online at mnmstaffing.net.
Purchasing property is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make. So let the trusted professionals at Haney Realty and Property Management help you.
All right, I'm going to start calling everybody to your
Haney Realty and
seats,
Property Management,
including the candidates for District 7.
and like a best friend, Haney Realty and Property Management will be with you.
Judy Pruitt, Maurice Woodard, Shelley Goolsby, whose name I spelled wrong, and Jeff Adams. I spell it both ways every time I do it. I'd like to remind you guys, you candidates, please make sure you speak into the microphone. This is practice, by the way, if you get elected, because you have to speak into the microphone at the county commission meetings as well. Please speak into the microphone so the folks at home can hear you.
Thank you, creatively.
All right, looks like we got everybody settled in. And we will start. You'll have a minute when I sit down. You'll give me just a second to get set down.
Looks like we lost the audience. We must not be as excited.
We mustn't be.
Judy Pruitt is our first candidate from District 7. Go ahead, Judy.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you all for being here. I am Judy Pruitt from District 7, representing the city of Pulaski and our county commission. I'm not homegrown. I wasn't born and raised here. I've been here about 40 years. So my children think this is home. And I raised 3 children in the public system here. And now I have 5 grandchildren in the system as well. I have a teacher daughter, and I have an educator son who teaches in higher education. And I have a son who is not in education, who lives in Mount Hill. So I have them all here. I love the county. I'm gratefully retired so that I can have a little free time to do this. And I'm glad to be here, and I'd appreciate your vote.
Thank you. Maurice Woodard.
Yeah, I'm Maurice Woodard, and I am a candidate for, of course, County Commission from District 7. I'm a Christian, I'm a constitutional conservative, and I'm a Republican. I was born and raised here in Giles County, born out at Milky Way Farm, lived between there and Camelsville all the time I was growing up, attended school at Camelsville all 12 years and graduated from that great academy of learning there. Finally, in 1960, my parents lived on High Street in Camelsville. I lived with them and went in the military, became a nuclear weapons specialist, and came home. My wife and I hope right back there, and come the 1st of July, we got married 56 years ago. She's put up with me all this time. So we've lived in Giles County nearly all of our lives. I've lived here 67 years at that time. So we're just glad to be here, and thank you.
Shelley Goolsby.
I'm Shelley Goolsby. I wasn't born here, but I went to junior high here in high school, and I'm now raised my children here. I'm married to Steve Goolsby, and we have a blended family of 4 children and 8 grandchildren. 1 granddaughter's 2 weeks old today. We're so excited. I am a retired educator, and I now sell real estate for Giles County, in Giles County. I did serve on the county commission for one term and ran for a second term, but unfortunately, 2 years into that term, we changed the rules on us and went to meeting monthly. I could leave my baby students, and yeah, there were seventh graders. I could leave my baby students, but not that much, so I had to resign. So I'd like to finish out. I'd like your vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeff Adams.
Hi, my name's Jeff Adams, and I wasn't born here. I wasn't raised here, but you know what? I retired, and I chose with my wife to move here, and because it's a beautiful place and it's got really nice people. I've been toying with the idea of running as a Republican for this commission, District 7, for about 4 years now, and I finally decided, it was time to give it a try to see if I can give back. I've served on committees in other areas that I've lived in, and I have lived in 3 corners of this country, not 4 corners. But, I would appreciate the vote, anybody giving me their vote when comes election time. Thank you.
Thank you. The way the question will work is one of the gentlemen will ask the question, and the first answer will be for you, Judy, whenever we get to that. So go right ahead, fellas.
All right, first question. What is one goal you would like to see the county reach over the next 4 years, and how would you approach making that goal happen as a county commissioner?
Thank you. I have heard grand ideas tonight, and we all have our own special priorities. I'm sorry if my teeth are chattering. I had 3 particular priorities when I ran, and I still feel the same when I ran the first time, and I still feel the same. Schools are my first priority. The safety for our citizens are the second, and then soundness for our future is the third. And in order to accomplish any of those goals, we have to work as a team and figure out how. Everybody wants more, but nobody wants debt or any taxes raised. So there has to be some plan in place, which we have worked so hard on these last 4 years to get those priorities straight and to make sure that we have the plan in place. We got blasted with COVID, and that did put a big damper on a lot of things. But I know that it's working as a team in this great county with the great ideas we have had and heard tonight, we can make it happen. I'm a can-do person. I'm action-oriented. I'm also a team player. I do know that no one person can move the Titanic, but together we should be able to make some kind of movement. So that's would be my plan. Did I answer that question without
Yes, ma'am, you did.
falling off the chair?
Mr. Woodard.
Yeah, the goal I would have for this county, of course, I think is the same one basically that everybody else would have. We want to see progress in the county. The question is, how are we going to do that? We'll have to work as a team, and I think we've been doing that pretty much. Of course, I've never served on the county commission. I've been in a lot of clubs and organizations and held offices and so on. But one of my main priorities, I think, is like everybody else's. I think that my main priority is with the school system. And if we need to prioritize what we want to happen in the school system as well as with everything else, but we need school security is one of my great concerns, and I'm sure it's everybody's. But if we want to look at schools, for example, and what we want to do for them, we need to prioritize those things. And I think security is number one. What good is a great new building to us if we can't provide safety for the students? And then I think teachers come next and so on. But I would say that that the school system is one of the greatest things, and then that'll help us to get more people in here, because I know I've heard of some people who didn't come to Giles County on account of they didn't want their children to go to school here. They want them to go to some other places. So I think that we need to definitely concentrate on our school system and security and so on.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Goofy?
Well, you know where my heart is, and schools are it. But without the others, we need the sheriff's department to be strong, which they are, but we need to help them. We also need our EMS to have much more than what they have. So, but my goal is to get the schools, improve what we have or build new. Retain the teachers that we already have, and by the way, we are retaining. We have some fabulous teachers in this county right now that have 25 and 30 years. One sitting in the audience that's got 40 years. They didn't leave here. What we're losing are teachers with 2, 4, 5 years. They decide they're not staying. But our core teachers have stayed, and kudos to them. And I have retired, so I feel bad about that. But I think our biggest way to achieve that goal is to start keeping the people that work here. They're here, but they go home. Let's figure out a way to get them to spend the night, buy houses, get the property. You all realize we don't have the houses for them to buy. We would love for them to, but they can't buy. We have got to figure out a way. Some people come off their property a little bit and let us build a subdivision. Let us increase the amount of houses. Just today I looked very quickly. Today, we literally had one new house listed for sale. Murray County, today, listed 19. So where are they going? They're going to Murray County because they could. They can't do it here. So increase our tax base, and then we could help my goal be reached.
Thank you, Shelley. Mr. Adams.
I had a couple that I'd written down here, and the first one was, as everybody else has said, to improve our teachers' pays in our schools. We have some older buildings. We have teachers' pay which aren't quite what they should be compared to what our neighbors are getting paid. And I think we also need to increase and improve the results that we're getting in the testing of the students as well. I also wrote down I think we need to plan for the future, plan for the growth. You know, we all got real excited that we got the UT Southern to come to the city, and we need to grow to keep them here and to keep get the population of that school up to where it needs to be. And we need to have the houses built, and we need to have development in the city that's planned and smart, so we don't end up with congestion like our neighbors to the north and our neighbors to the south. I also wrote down we need to improve our roads, because our roads are, I drive for a living. I drive Napa Auto Parts, and I drive all over the county, and boy, there's some really, really bad roads in this county, and I think we need to kind of work on those as well. The way to get those done, I think, is to increase the revenue, as well as let's drill down on the budget. Let's start, saying, in my household, when inflation goes up, I can't sit there and ask for more money. I got to sit there and look at my budget and figure out where I can cut at. I think maybe we need to be doing a little bit of that in the county as well.
Thank you. Next question.
We asked this to the last group. Would you support, as a county commissioner, looking at ways to scholarship EMS, paramedics, even police officers, with the promise of a job in the county when they return or when they graduate?
We'll start this one with Mr. Woodard.
Yes, I would certainly want to do that. I think it would be a great way to keep people, and I think it would be a great way to help students be educated and trained in what we need them to be. And yes, I would definitely support such.
Ms. Gozer.
Absolutely. I love my little babies that came through. And Lake Foster was out here just a second ago. He was one of my babies. Taylor's out here. These are my children. When I see them and they're doing these jobs, I honestly am like exploding with happiness. I have EMS paramedics right now that I taught. I have attorneys. I have doctors that I taught. And several of them are here, but several have left this county. And I think if we could give them the idea, come back to us, come back to us. And we give them a scholarship and we get them to stay and stay with us. I don't think that we could do anything but win. And it is a win-win all the way around. Give a little bit of money to these children, invest in their future, and they will brighten our future.
Thank you. Mr. Adams?
I think it's a great idea along with everybody else, but I would add the caveat of we need to have something that can return from them. If we're going to pay for their schooling, we need to get a guaranteed contract they're going to work in our school districts or our EMS office or whatever for a certain period of time. I also think if we want to recruit already teachers or already some that are working in that profession, let's give them money to buy a house, but let's also have them sign that contract. What's it cost to get somebody through school? Let's figure that out and say, okay, here's $10,000 to help on your down payment for your house, but you got to sign this contract. You're going to work with us and stay in your job for 10 years or whatever that case may be. So it's, yes, it's a good idea. Yes, let's add the scholarships with responsibility. And let's also look at recruiting trained people already, but giving them breaks like I mentioned.
Thank you. Ms. Pruitt?
I think definitely it's a win-win. I see no way it can be a loss for either side. I do agree that there should be an agreement. I mean, it's a give-take world. If we allow or provide a scholarship, I think they should be obligated and would hope that they would be to stay in our town and give back. That's what we're all trying to do anyway, but I definitely think that's a win-win.
Next question, please.
There's been a lot of talk tonight about our education system. Do you think the county commission has done enough in its efforts to fund schools, and what would you add to that discussion as a commissioner?
We'll start with Ms. Goolsby.
I'll be honest, I'm never going to think you've paid enough to fund the schools, but I'm also honest enough to know that you have a bucket of money, and that bucket only goes so far. And for the past, gosh, how long, that bucket hasn't grown. We're not increasing our taxes coming in because people are not buying and building. There's farm property, 50% of Giles, more than 50% of Giles County is in farm property. And just figuring it out, throwing it out there, if you have 40 acres on the Greenbelt in Giles County, you're going to pay $300 taxes a year. But if you take that exact same 40 acres and put 20 houses, you're going to have $24,000 taxes. That's a big difference. So if all you could do is give up a little bit of land, we're not asking to give up all of Giles County. You could increase that, and that could pay for a teacher right there. And we could increase the teacher's pay. I can't say kudos enough to our county commission. And no, I haven't been on it for the past 6 years. But they're stretching that budget all they can and giving the teachers everything they can give them. And I wish we could give them more, but we don't have it. And you don't come, if it's not coming in, it's just like my house. I'm living now on a retired budget. I'm not doing what I used to do. You just don't. And we're living on a retired budget compared to what we could be if we could add to our tax and not tax our current people.
Mr. Adams?
I think the county commission and Board of Education has done a lot to just take care of our schools. I think they have the surplus that they're working on improving the schools with now. They've given raises to the teachers. Is it enough? I don't know because I'm not in there, examining the books and everything like I would be if I was on the commission. But I do think we need to somehow look at increasing revenue. And of course, to do that, you do have to do some development. Of course, you got to take care to make sure you still have places to grow your food and raise your beef and everything like that. But, we do need houses and, we do need new businesses. And, that's something that the commission doesn't have a lot of chance of doing. But, we have people that work for the county that, should be out there doing it. And I think the commission's done a pretty good job. And I just, I would want to look and drill down into the budget a little bit and see if there's any waste or any repetitive duties that people have and see if there's any way that we can cut that budget to increase teacher pay and look at improving our school buildings. But overall, I think they've done a pretty good job.
Thank you. Ms. Pruitt?
Thank you for that. I sit on both the school and the budget committee, and I will tell you that the work has been very difficult. It is a great burden in this county for me to hear everybody on this stage talk about schools being our biggest priority. But when push comes to shove, and we start looking at that bucket of funding, and everybody wants more. We need a new ambulance building. We need great roads. There are no items on the budget that are not needed. We have to have some affordable housing, not just houses. We have some beautiful mansions going up. We need some affordable housing. And we have to think about responsible debt and a new school or two or more, because we're never going to have an influx of people, families, moving to this community to raise their children if we don't have good schools. I'm not just talking about the building. I'm talking about taking care of the teachers, securing the premises. That's vital. I'm not going to send my babies to a school in danger. I probably am every day, but we pray that's not going to happen. But schools are what it's all about. And we need to put our money where our mouth is. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Woodard?
Yes, I think, like the other folks here, that we definitely need to fund our schools in some manner. I've always believed that debt was destructive. I've always believed in frugal budgeting, but there comes a time when you have to try to prioritize things. When we get a list of things that just have to be done, you need to start, or at least, as Adam Smith said, who wrote The Wealth of Nations, that a great kingdom needs to be run like your household. That's not his exact words, but if we just try to throw money out there, and I'm not saying that's what's been done. I think they've done the best they can at this and continue to do that. But we have to continue looking at these things of prioritizing what we need and working out of the bucket of money that we have and trying to figure out ways of getting more money, of developing the county as well, as because we have to have an income in order to have money to outgo.
Thank you. Next question.
With all that being said, and this was touched on just a little bit by Ms. Goolsby earlier, we have citizens that work outside the county and live here, but we have as much as 50% of our workforce in Giles County lives outside the county. They earn their dollars here and pay their taxes somewhere else. How do we get them here? How do we keep them here?
This will be Mr. Adams first.
Well, there's a couple things we need to do, and again, I mean, me and my wife, we chose to move here. There are things to do, but I've also heard it said tonight that we've got to go out of the county or out of the city to spend our money. And one thing that we need to do, and instead of looking solely at maybe just bringing new factories, let's also look at bringing in new things to do. Not necessarily an axe throwing with, beer, but something that might be, fun for the families to do. We've got, my wife and I go out of town a lot if we want to go out to eat, if we want to go to the movie, if we want to go bowling. We need to bring some of those things into the county so that those people can stay here. I think also, if you want to move them here, I think we need to improve the results that our schools have. One of the things that, when I had kids and we were raising them, we looked at, at the school districts, what were they like? What was the schools like? What was the graduation rates? Where'd they rank in the state or the county or the city as far as the results they get for the kids learning? We need to kind of look at all those things. And I think to be able to do all that, we need to put together a strategic plan on what we need to do in the county. What services we'd like to bring to the county at something that people can spend their money and enjoy their lives, and get back to the pre-COVID stuff of what we used to do on the square all the time, which I think we're starting to get back to finally. And it was a great day at the Sundrop Festival to see so many people there, and let's do more of that to make it a fun place to be. And I'll wrap it up with that.
Judy next. Repeat the question.
Repeat the.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I answered it.
No, we've started a new question with Mr. Adams.
Yes. The new question is, we have people that live out of.
Oh, right. Senior moment, pardon me. I think affordable housing is a huge thing. We have a lot of people who live out of town who work in the factories, and their income may not be a nature that they could afford some of our properties at this particular time. Of course, who could have expected our property rates, our property to be so expensive? For many, many years, we were very reasonable. We haven't been for the last couple of years, several years. And a lot of that has to do, I think, with us not being able to keep people in town. I just think that right now, and I don't know the cost, and it's not just Pulaski or Giles County, it's across the country. We're all struggling with our budgets, and we're no different than others. But it is hard to live out of town and see a brand new, beautiful school with good test scores, and you don't feel like you can afford to stay in Pulaski when that's not the same here. That you can get better service for your schools and better results out of town, and I hate to see that.
Thank you, Mr. Woodard.
How do we get, this may sound like a dumb question, and it may be, but how do we get better test scores? We want to do that. Is it all come through the quality of the teachers? No, I don't think so. Does it come through the quality of the school building that they're in? Where is the problem that doesn't lead to better test scores for us, you think? Is it the home life? Is it what the children are being brought up with? I had about a 2-hour conversation with a teacher the other day, and this sort of reflected, I think, from home, but nevertheless, it was school rule. This person told me that they weren't permitted, and this may or may not be true, I don't know, or maybe I misunderstood, but that they were not permitted to do anything that we used to call punishment. I don't think you can use that word anymore, can you? to a child that was out of order, if they were having a tantrum or whatever, you let that play out. The only time you get between them is if they're about to harm somebody else. If they're fixing to throw a TV set through the window, that's fine. Let them go ahead and do that. Is that true? This teacher told me it was, and you know, we need to look at a lot of things like that, because that's not helping children to learn to make good grades, and it's not helping the teachers.
Thank you. Shelley?
Okay. I'm going to answer this, but I'm going to answer a lot of things right now. First, our test scores are done on one day, one test. And if your child gets up in the morning and you have yelled at your child all the way to school and they walk in my classroom to take the test, they're already going to lose. I'm already lost. Now, I do not judge a doctor on how many patients that dies under his care. And I do not judge you don't judge me as a real estate agent about how many houses I sell, but we sure do judge our teachers on a one-day test. The fact is, our children are learning. Our children are not scoring low. The problem is we do no longer have a bell curve in Giles County because the children who score high have been removed and taken to other counties. And they have done that because they're looking for other reasons. I can't hold them accountable for that. But our bell curve is, so we're no longer doing A's against F's. We're doing B's and C's against F's. That gives us a C and a D average. So I just want to say our teachers are fabulous. They're working hard every single day. And yes, we still have discipline. We just can no longer do corporal punishment. But we can discipline our children, and those of them that are standing in this audience that know me know really well, my room was really disciplined. I am fully disciplined. But as far as keeping the people here, how to get them is to have houses. That's the answer.
All right, I think we got time for one more question. Unless, did anybody have anything to add there before we go on? Go ahead.
I'll just make one other comment. I love our teachers and I love our school. I think we're being locked up in the way that we can teach these days, because on the national playing field, we're only scored by the test scores, which is really unfair, but that is the way we have to be scored. But we aren't putting a lot of emphasis on STEM and things that Lois mentioned earlier. We've got to expand that curriculum a little bit, and we have some. We have some.
I think Jeff had something to add.
Yeah, she makes some valid points, but every district has one test on one day that they're getting the scores on the testing scores as well. I'm not saying that our teachers aren't doing a good job. I think it starts at the top. I think the discipline is an issue in school districts. Maybe it wasn't in your classroom, but boy, it sure has been in some other classrooms that I've seen. And I'm not for corporal punishment or anything like that, but there's got to be some discipline. That starts at the top. The curriculum needs to start at the top. So I think that, teachers are trying as best they can within the circumstances that they have to work with right now.
Thank you. Everybody good? All right, next question. This will be the last question before we wrap it up.
Affordable housing has been a common thread for the past 3 nights in many different questions. We all know that the county is not in the housing game. So as a county commission, what can they do in order to spur on affordable housing? What role can the commission play in bringing that into the county?
Go back to Ms. Pruitt.
Okay. I'm not sure that I have an answer for that. However, I do think that we could maybe give an incentive to local builders to maybe have some affordable apartments, condos, something that the average teacher or single parent on a teacher's salary would be able to afford so that they could bring their family to town. Now, I know that there are some breaks along the way for industry or for business. I think maybe we could work with the local builders or an investment builder, and offer some idea of help us out here. We need duplexes. We need smaller homes that are affordable so that families can afford to live here. Our per capita income doesn't allow us, not all of us, especially those on lower incomes, to have any option.
Thank you, Mr. Woodard.
I don't really know what affordable housing is, quite frankly. When I think about house prices, it's totally amazing to me. The first house, I guess the first house that we bought was what we considered a very nice house. It had belonged to an engineer that was leaving town, moving from Gabriel. And it was a 3-bedroom brick, had a full basement and all this, and that darn thing cost $18,500. We had a back porch put on the house where we are now. No walls, no nothing, just some posts in the roof and the floor, and it cost a little over $20,000. I don't know what affordable housing is, and I don't know how you get that anymore. But I think housing would have to be a supply and demand type thing. Of course, if the demand is there, it would seem to me that builders would build as long as they could sell those houses. I don't know if that has any bearing on that question or not, but it's just something that came to my mind when we started talking about that.
Good. All right, Ms. Goldsby.
The county commission, I think, could work with the city government to work on being very open to building some roads, to help lay the water lines, to not be a stumbling block for these people coming in. There's actually a contractor right now that can't find property that he's willing to build houses, and he can't. So we need to start working together as a committee, as a commission, as the city council, to say, yes, we will help you. We will figure out how to get these roads in. We'll figure out how to get the water lines to you. We'll get this done. If you build those houses, we'll get them, because that's going to bring in people, increase our tax base. And if we are the stumbling block for it, then we have just totally blown it. We need to open our doors and start being helpful and being the person that steps up and says, we can do this. Help us, we'll help you out if you need help. And we need to advertise. We need to get people to realize, if you're a contractor and you want to come, we're looking for houses. Come on and build us some houses. That's our game, I think. I think we need to be the people out here asking these contractors to come, treating them like it's wonderful you're here. The Kirkpatricks are a perfect example. They have built several houses. Get them more. Help them find some more property. That's it. Build it, they will come, is the statement.
All right, Mr. Adams.
Well, I agree with what a lot of it is said here. First off, is what is affordable housing? I don't know that I have a definition for that. I don't know that anybody has a definition for that, but I think we do need to have some work done together with the city and the county and builders. And I sit here and I look around and I wonder how Green Acres was ever built. because it's just so hard from what I hear from contractors. That's a big subdivision for this area. And how was that done? How did they get that done? And why can't we get that done today? I'm sure the roads weren't there when they built those houses, and I'm sure all the water pipes weren't in there when they built those houses. So I think it has to be an effort by everybody involved to be able to get houses. And do we need to build them smaller? Do we need to build them on smaller lots? I don't know what affordable housing is. I know what affordable is to me. I don't know what affordable is to everybody else. But I do believe it has to be an effort by everybody to loosen the regulations a little bit, to get things to get built, and able to and work together with the city and the county and the builders. But whether that's going to make it affordable or not, I don't know, but I think that's what we should be trying to do.
All right, thank you, guys. That will wrap up the questioning. If you will, we'll start with Mr. Adams, and we'll do a minute and a half to wrap up. Please hit on anything that you think we didn't touch on that you'd like to talk about, and then we'll move on to Ms. Gault.
Well, I just would like to ask everybody's vote. The things that I've tried to mention here tonight that I think we need to work on is accessibility to meetings and accessibility for people to work on the commission and be a commissioner. I have to take time off work. I know you had to quit because you couldn't do it. I've heard people say, well, what about second shift and what about third shift? And I still think the majority of the people work on the first shift. And I think that we need new ideas. We need new things, new people to bring those new ideas. Again, I think that we need to work on teacher pay so we can keep our teachers. I think we need to work on teachers, on school results of our students. I think we also need to plan for the future and have a strategic plan of what we think is important and how we're going to get there. And of course, I want to ask again for your vote so I can try to work on getting those things done. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Gault.
First, I want to say, I'm with Judy. I am not nervous at all. I am so frozen. I have shook myself to death up here. So I am.
Work on getting some heat in this building.
I'm telling you what. But I want to thank UT Southern for stepping up. That is just amazing how quickly they stepped up. And we just love that they're here. It's wonderful. Thank Kitchen 218 for stepping up first. And then all the people that are now paying for us to become here. Thank you, Scott, for putting this together again and doing a wonderful job. I would appreciate your vote. I will say one more time that Giles County schools are the best in the world, and our teachers are fabulous, and they work their self to the bone, do they not, Carol Abernathy? And every day they step up and face things that you all can't even begin to imagine. You cannot. And the things that they deal with has nothing to do with curriculum, nothing. But we have wonderful police. We have wonderful deputies. The EMS are so wonderful. I have now had to deal with them several times, and I can tell you right now, they make the worst situation wonderful. So we're blessed. And our sheriff's department is fabulous. Please, I'd appreciate your vote. You can find me, I'm the pink signs around town.
Thank you. Mr. Woodard.
Yes, I want to thank everybody too for UT Southern. Thank you, Scott, and everybody who's had a hand in letting us come together, all of us come together here and talk and present ideas. We're constantly, we didn't talk about this, and I knew we wouldn't, but I asked you about this earlier. I just happened to find some things today that I thought, well, I'll bring along, and if anybody wants them, fine. I have some constitutions left over from a class that I was fortunate enough to do back a few years ago. It was a 20-week, 2 hours a session course about the Constitution and the founding of this country. We are constantly moving away from this Constitution. and we're having judgments from the bench. No Bible reading in school, none of this, a lot of this other stuff that they tell you is a First Amendment right. The First Amendment, the only right the First Amendment gave us was to keep the federal government out of those things. Anyway, if anybody wants one of these, they're up here. I appreciate you coming. I want to ask you to vote for the person that you think will do the better job. If that's me, fine, but don't vote for me because I'm so young looking or anything like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pruitt.
I reiterate everything that everyone else has said. With thanks to everyone, and of course, UT is going to be a big part of our future, and I think we need to embrace that. Now, I've circled a few things that I said I was going to mention that I didn't mention because my teeth were chattering. But anyway, growth is coming, and progress is going to happen one way or the other. And I'm a common sense. I take a common sense approach to life in general, to budgeting. It's not always the way I wish it were. It obviously is not in our county the way we wish it were. We know we have to improve our schools. We have to reward our teachers for the work they do. We know we have to support a secure and safe environment to protect our way of life, the quality of the life that we enjoy in this county that we all appreciate. We also have to think about the future, and that might be making a responsible investment in either infrastructure, either incentive for to make our doors open wider and be more receptive. I don't have the answer, but I do believe in a collaborative effort. And I know, based on the people that I've seen on the stage, that can happen. I like to work as a team. I've learned a lot. I think we can all learn from each other. I appreciate everybody that is running. It's nice to have competition. And I'm with Maurice. You don't have to vote for me, just vote.
I'm going to put those down on the stage whenever we get done in case anybody wants those.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. If everybody I want to say about three things. I probably won't remember about two of them because I'm tired, and that's the first one. Because we're tired, but we ought to be tired because what we're doing is not easy, right? The government's not easy, y'all. And a lot of people out there have a lot of things to say about how the government's run. I'm one of them. But a lot of people have a lot to say about how it's run without really knowing how it works. And I think that's what we're doing here today. The second thing that I want to say is I've been doing this for 25 years, actually 27, I think now. And the people of this community, the leaders, the people that want to lead never fail to amaze me. And so this whole last 3 nights has been amazing. And my third thing is, and I would tell everybody thank you, but I'm not gonna get everybody down. I did get my thank you column written. It'll be in the paper. I encourage in the paper and on the website. And I encourage you to read it because I just want you to know who all was involved in making this happen, and there's no way I can tell you right now, okay? And then thirdly, anybody who has not talked to Kelly about the special election section, just stop and talk to her about it just real quick and see what we got to offer and decide if you want it. Thank you, everybody, so much, and that is a wrap. By the way, it's 9:30.
Thank you.